Live from New York. It's the show that personally is turning into a Mariners fan.
Okay, that's fine.
And I would like to be a Mariners fan with someone else, and I've realized I've never met someone from Washington.
Except you've met Mina, who's from Washington. That's first of all. Second of all, Brou. Has there ever been anything more predictable than the moment, literally the moment the Mariners become the favorites to win the World Series?
Wilds is like,
the favorites? Well, they're up two. They're the closest of anybody.
I was about to say.
What do you want me to do?
I mean, I am the Dodgers guy, but I'm kind of the Mariners guy.
Yeah, because Cal Raleigh.
I was totally on the big dumper, not you.
That is true.
You're saying
I'm on Randy Rosarena.
I've been saying.
No, that's
and I'm on George
Also,
Kirby.
with that said, while I
I've
would
never
like
met
the
someone from
Mariners to win
Washington.
the series, for the sake of sports fans and also for the sake of our network, let's have a competitive series. Let's get some wins, Toronto.
I'm surprised that they have stomped it.
Let's get
game
Toronto.
Two, especially
Not
the way
win
they
a couple games.
True Mariners fan.
I think they'll be all right.
3 o'clock
Toronto
Eastern.
make
It's
it a
noon to my.
Honestly, I don't know if anyone's there.
There's a lot of people there. Start the show, guys. Please, run
Can
run
you
it.
please send me a note?
I got some family and friends in Washington, believe it or not.
But I believe
I
it.
claim that state.
Is Josh Allen letting the Bills down, or are the Bills letting Josh Allen down?
No.
I was surprised that narrative came out.
Well,
of
of
last
course,
night's
you
game.
can't. But he's the most talented player to ever play the position. No one's ever played it better.
That was a hot one.
No one's ever
Meanwhile,
played it.
Commanders let the game slip out of their hands.
Oh my goodness.
Is it time to start believing in Caleb and Ben Johnson? More headlines about Ben Johnson. He's a mastermind now.
Oh,
No.
KW.
It was a fumble.
KW.
You got a field goal.
Get
Settle down.
over it.
That was all Ben Johnson
too
right
much.
there, right?
Be doing
I
those.
bet Ben Johnson knows the rules on those fancy trick plays, and if he was in Detroit, Goff would have paused. I bet you that. I bet you he's buttoned up on that.
They didn't have any Dan Skipper declaring problems when he was there?
Dan Skipper's now starting left tackle. Oh, my goodness.
Also, is Mahomes back on the top? Oh, no, it's not Mahomes. Oh, this screws me up.
Because they say QB
Yeah,
tiers?
they did.
Yeah, I
That
don't.
is
By the way,
confusing.
you know what? I usually don't like when Wilds criticizes our producers. It's correct. He is correct.
That is
It shouldn't be QB tiers. It's not tiers is Wednesday. Just put Mahomes Mountain. If we need a smaller font, so be it.
Come on, guys.
Tiers is trademark.
What are we doing?
It's trademark.
It's like
Everybody
people in Washington. Are you watching the show?
He's a KW.
I'm a huge Mariners guy. I'm going to fly out
I
there.
think KW's been drinking.
You know, because I had a bad show yesterday. I didn't give it my all.
We all knew that.
So-
you didn't have
so
to
today
announce
I'm
it to the audience.
overcompensating.
Yeah, you're like Brian Branch. You don't need to apologize. We all saw what you did.
I was wondering if you figured it out.
Exactly.
We're starting with the Bills upset. Josh Allen throws for only 180 yards. Had one bad pick, one down by 10 desperation pick that I'm not really counting. Bills dropped their second in a row. Here's Josh Allen.
They had a good plan. Looks like they, came off a bye week and got the game plan us quite a bit. And again, I got to be better and seeing the things that they're trying to do to us and make adjustments accordingly. It sucks when you feel like 2/3 of your teams, the offense and the defense, are doing their job, and you're the team not to pull your weight. It sucks. So again, gotta get in the film room and learn from our mistakes and move on.
Said it wrong. Yeah. Here's Josh Allen last night. The Falcons figured out, hey, how about we blitz Josh Allen? He was blitzed on 56% of his dropbacks. It's the highest since 2021. Again,
Shout out Raheem.
smart.
Yeah.
You know
Doing a
what?
good job.
Blitzing the quarterback all the time.
But usually against great quarterbacks, it doesn't work. And Josh, obviously, a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But, Brady, you never wanted to blitz.
Right.
Historically, Mahomes, you don't want
Yes,
to blitz.
Goff is
Rodgers,
good
you don't
against
want to
the
blitz. So
I would
that's
still
rare.
do it.
Say it again?
I would still do it.
Okay, yeah. You cover Travis
It worked
Kelce
last
and you
night.
blitz the quarterback.
Should Bills fans be concerned?
Yes, because they're SBOB. They're going to make the playoffs, of course. Whether I know you think now New England will win the division.
I didn't say
Maybe.
that. How did you know that?
They're in the,
How did you know that?
They're in the conversation. How about that?
Well,
to win the
they're actually
division.
in first
They're
place.
right now. All right, there's a lot of football left to be played. However, they're going to make the playoffs. That's not the question.
No doubt.
They are Super Bowl or bust. Another year of getting close and losing in the second round, third round, whatever it is of the playoffs is going to rock that franchise even more than it's already been rocked over the last few years. So that's why they should be concerned. And Nick, these last, I would say, 4 games, we thought they looked great against Baltimore. That defense turned out to be terrible up until maybe last weekend. And they still gave up a ton of points to Lamar, which is,
fine.
Yeah. But after I can't remember
Jets,
who they beat. The Jets,
they annihilated
pummeled
the Jets, and they played great.
Yeah, and
but
then
the
after
4
that,
weeks since
Miami,
then,
New Orleans, they didn't look great in those wins, and then they've lost their last 2. So they are looking more like the team I thought they'd be last year. Remember last year I was like,
yes.
oh, they're a playoff team. They're not going to win the AFC.
Yep.
They have no chance. And they came out and surprised us and had a shot. But they look more like that team I expected now. Because I don't think they're phenomenal on paper. They don't have any great wide receivers. James Cook is a really good running back. Top 10 running back, 10-ish, something like
I'd
that.
say higher.
Right?
Yeah.
But their O-line is struggling right now. But defensively, Matt Milano's hurt. And he's a great player when he plays, but he always seems to be hurt. Mm-hmm. They got some good defensive players, but I'm just saying on paper they aren't as good as some of the other elite teams.
He's what makes him
well,
great.
and look, I'm going to put some of it on the O-line. He's been sacked 12 times this year. That equals all of last season. Yeah. And you said the blitz, he was pressured like almost half of his dropbacks last night. But Josh, with all of that explained, is regressing a little bit compared to what he did last year. Last year he had 6 interceptions, 7 turnovers the whole season. In the last 3 games, he's got 4 interceptions and 5 turnovers. So he's looking like the Josh Allen that, was great a few years ago, but was also reckless and could make some bad mistakes. He doesn't look as reckless, but he is making some bad
But also
turnovers.
hasn't looked as explosive. Listen,
No.
I'm in a weird spot with the Bills and Josh Allen because the last couple years I've probably been the highest on them of anyone on the show. I thought Danny picked him to go to the Super Bowl, so this year he's higher, but of the 3 of us, the highest. I think he is clearly and unequivocally the second best quarterback in football. I also think he lives in this very weird narrative space where when he's great, you do have measured, respected voices who aren't known for hot takes, saying things such as, quote, no one has ever played the position better than Josh plays it. And when he objectively plays poorly like last night, the narrative is the Bills are letting Josh Allen down. It is a spot typically reserved for folks, honestly, that have earned what Mahomes has earned, has won everything at such a high level so consistently that it is hard to even wrap your mind around, is it this guy's fault? But Mahomes doesn't get this type of pass. And last night, I do think the Bills have a flawed roster.
Yes.
I do think their path is actually quite simple. That guy's got to be unbelievable for a month in January. Like, that's their path. Their path is Josh Allen put the cape on. Of course it's a tough path. Like, it's one of the reasons I didn't pick him, because I think it's too much to ask. But last night, they did not lose because of the defense. Last night, 3 times in the second half, they got the ball down 21-14. And 3 times, we can show you what happened on those drives. The first one ended on a ridiculous decision by Josh, which we'll show you in a moment. Then it was 3 and out. And I agree with you. I'm not even including the final drive down 10 where he threw the pick, because who really cares? Yeah. Like, they were in an onside kick game. But the 4th and 2 play, these plays are awesome when they work. And when they don't, the answer is throw a real pass. And
you could have. You could have thrown. I know he's at an odd angle, but you could have thrown a real pass.
You can't do that and have it come up short.
I know. He's done it.
When it works, it's awesome.
Yeah. That's a long shuffle.
That's as long as I've seen him try to do. And here's so I don't think he's regressed, but I think it's fair to say the last 3 games he's slumped a bit. And so we can show you those numbers as well. And by the way, it's not like the numbers are horrible, what you're about to see, his first 3 versus his last 3. But the yards are down a bit. The touchdowns are the same, which are really good, 7 in 3 games. But the turnovers are what kills you. And so, that is, the style they were trying to play Brou of, conservative, don't make mistakes. That assumed they have an elite defense. They don't. So they do need more of an explosive offense if they're not going to feed James Cook. And it's now been back-to-back. The 4 wins came against teams that are combined 3-21. And then they played the Patriots, and Drake May outplayed him. And I don't even know if I want to say Michael Penix outplayed him last night, because to me last night was so much about Bijan.
Right.
But if it was your first game ever watching the NFL, you wouldn't be like, hey, one of these guys is an all-time great.
Correct.
And one of them is just a second-year player.
Let's be honest. There's a lot of games Josh plays where you don't think he's an all-time great. And he is, don't get me wrong. But he has a lot of, like, the way they got on this run over the last year and a half was to stop throwing it as much and to start running the ball more.
And then
every 4 or 5 game, he'll make a great play here or there, or every 4 games or so, he's fantastic. But that's been how they've, become an elite team the last couple.
I know you guys you kind of glossed over it. Like, they'll definitely make the playoffs.
You think that's in question?
No, I want to put it out there. Are you sure they're a playoff team? Not logistically, but basically, are they a good to great team? If this is the defense, before we talk about the Ravens are now 32nd in points allowed. The Jets are 28th in points allowed. Miami's 29th in points allowed, and the Saints are 25th.
That's where those are their 4 wins.
Those are their 4 wins. And then they played the Patriots, who don't have an outstanding defense.
Right. And they scored 20.
And the Falcons have a pretty good defense and shut them down. So it's like, all right. And I know the Ravens, we have it locked in our head that they're not. We've seen that they're not.
Right.
So here's I'm not ready to say that this works.
So here's what I think. I do not think, and history backs me up on this, I guess, that if you have healthy Josh Allen, which he's always healthy, you're a playoff team. You know what I mean? And so I'm not worried about that. I do think the Patriots are live to win the division. I don't think they're a favorite, not literally or figuratively. Right. But what I do think is really important is this. The Bills were set up perfectly for something they've never had. The 1 seed and a bye. And I feel they have squandered that edge.
Yes.
And it feels to me like they are pacing towards a very similar season, which is they win the division. Maybe they won't, but I think they will. They win the division. They face an overmatched first-time playoff quarterback in the wild card round. Josh puts up these insane numbers in the wild card round. And then come round 2, or as you said, round 3 of the playoffs, they face someone in their historic weight class, and they're not up to the task. Mm-hmm. I don't see any reason why they'd be different than previous years.
In the past few years, their defense has been great in the regular season.
Yes.
And then faltered in the playoffs. Right now, they're faltering in the regular season.
They allowed 335 yards in the first half, the most since 2001. All right, moving on to Commanders versus the Bears. Jayden let the ball and the game slip out of his hands. Caleb capitalizes, gets the Bears into field goal range, courtesy of DeAndre Swift. All of a sudden, Bears won 3 in a row.
And happy for Jake Moody. His career was on the line.
Man.
He was stressed.
Yeah, of course. His whole career's on the line.
He was terrible in San Francisco.
Yes, and now he gets us new lease on life.
Here's Jayden and Caleb. Take a listen.
I'm not going to sit up here and blame it on the elements. I mean, at the end of the day, I got to focus. I get paid to go out there and focus, play in and play out. And I had a lack of focus right there, and it cost us the game.
When you're on the sideline, you see the ball come out. What's going through your head?
Time to go win the game and not give the ball back to them again. Because we've seen, they can, be explosive in those moments. Play smart situational football at the end of the game and go win.
Okay, which QB did you learn more about?
Caleb.
Really?
Because Jayden is great. I'm sorry. I know he made the fumble that lost the game. I know he threw that interception in the red zone. Watching him, he is a great quarterback, Jayden, and which is what we knew. At least I knew going in, and I feel like you guys knew it as well. He's smooth, he's poised. They never feel out of it when he's I thought outside of those 2 turnovers, and I put the game on him because he just dropped the ball, right, and then threw it into the running back's chest. But he is what I thought he was. I thought if they had won that game, I was honestly, and not to make this like it's some phenomenal award, but I was considering for Brou's Ballot because he's only played what
4 games.
4 games,
Yeah.
and they would have been 3-1 in those. But so I didn't learn anything I didn't know about Jayden. Caleb, look, he wasn't phenomenal, but he was solid. And what he said in that post game, let's just play situational football. Like, it shows growth. He didn't feel like he had to go out and make some spectacular plays. Now, he had the nice running touchdown where his speed was the factor in that, so that was great. But otherwise, he got the ball to his playmakers. DeAndre Swift was great. Got the ball to his playmakers and did what you needed to do to win the game, and that is growth. So, I mean, he missed a few open guys. There's no doubt. He took, there was one bad sack where he kind of ran backwards and stuff.
Yeah, and that they then got the field goal block.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he did make a few mistakes, but I just feel like you're seeing consistent growth, and he was just more consistent and more kind of even-keeled as a player than he's been in the past.
So I just throw up Caleb's numbers for the year because by any metric, he's been more than solid. And this is the exact type of growth we hoped for coming into the year. I don't think, because last year went the way it did and the coach got fired and he wasn't as good as the numbers said if you watched the games, we had slowed down the hype train to a crawl, and it was no longer, light the world on fire. It was steady improvement over the course of the year and get better at the easy things while popping with some wow stuff. And I think that's what we're seeing. Like, I have changed my short-term expectations for Caleb because I think the easy stuff or the not situational, but the organizational stuff almost that he was bad at, I think was going to be a real path. So I think and now the Bears that's a huge tiebreaker they now have against the Commanders. Like, that was a really important win. To me, it was more Jayden, and it's for 2 reasons. One is, and you guys can say this is, my preconceived notion bias on him and his body type. How many times watching that game were you worried about him?
Of Jayden?
Yes.
A few like whenever he runs, he's not traditionally sliding or normal sliding.
And so that, for a player who's played 1 1/3 seasons and has already suffered 2 injuries that made him miss time, albeit short time, but miss time in both years, I hated that. You know what I mean? It made me nervous. Like, it feels like he's playing with fire.
That's a concern. Yeah.
And if I'm just trying to be fair, if the exact game had played out in the exact way, opposite. Caleb had this wow stat line, but threw an awful pick that took points off the board. And then, with a lead with 4 minutes left, dropped a snap, we would be killing him.
But there's a reason
for
that.
Jayden has earned the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly.
I agree with that. But we're in a very, to me, interesting narrative place about that year's rookie class of quarterbacks, the top 3. Because going into the draft, the overwhelming opinion was Caleb's going to be the best. He was the consensus number 1. After last season, the overwhelming consensus opinion is Jayden's the best. And right now, I think, maybe not overwhelming, but I think the majority opinion would be Drake May's the best. I think it'd
probably be fairly evenly split with Jayden and Drake.
And so my point is, I just think it's going to be a long path for this whole class, and I do think that the Commanders all of a sudden find themselves really up against it in a very congested NFC as far as.
Can I ask you a question about Caleb? Because you obviously had him on Mahomes Mountain as a Trojan.
A college player, yes.
And then you had him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have soured on him a little bit.
Not soured, but I lowered my expectations. I didn't drop a banner saying I don't like him.
I'm done with him.
No, I said Danny.
And now he seems to be rising a little bit
I think he's been solid.
In your book. Are there points when you watch Caleb, and I was trying to figure out how to describe his style of play. Sometimes it feels like he plays caffeinated, overly caffeinated, where there's
doesn't look smooth
compared to Jay. Yeah. Like I'm never looking at Jayden Daniels like what's going on here? Where Caleb 2-point conversion, like I'm going the. I'm like, it just feels overly caffeinated. Do you feel that way?
I think that's totally fair, and I think part of Ben Johnson's job is kind of reprogramming how he sees a football field. You know what I mean? Like what he's taking in and what impacts him. Because I think that caffeinated style is what made him so great in college.
Yeah.
Was, you know what like he would very quickly go to instinct versus play call, and it would work. And so now he almost has to, pull it out of him. But I just think for the Bears, Saints, Ravens, Bengals are the next 3. That's 3 opportunities for Caleb to put up really good numbers. They should win at home against the Saints, and everyone beats the Bengals. The Ravens game's really tough because Lamar's going to be back and the Ravens have to have it. But I think that it wouldn't shock me if a month from now we look at it and we say, Caleb Williams has 17 touchdowns, 3 picks, is on pace for that 4,000-yard season. Yeah. And the Bears are 5-3, and you're feeling good about it.
You got to get to your Ravens, bro. Okay. Unless you want to have one final thing.
Quickly, I want to say, are you with me? Look, I'll leave it open. They're so young that I'll leave it open. Drake will be best. Jayden will be best. Caleb may, whoever in this class. But right now, I saw nothing last night to make me feel like, oh, Caleb's better than Jayden.
No, we haven't seen anything in the pros that says Caleb's better than Jayden. I just think my point was 4 weeks ago, we had seen nothing in the pros that Drake was better than Jayden.
That's true.
And now I think that a lot, and maybe not you, but I think a lot of people.
And
so I just think it's fluid. It's fluid. I can't believe I said that.
You're learning.
Ravens, not dead yet. Harbaugh was asked about Lamar giving the team a psychological lift, Brou. Take a listen.
Psychologically, how much am I leaning into Lamar coming back and playing? Yeah. I'd have to, if I was on the couch with a psychiatrist right now, if I was spilling it, I would have to say I'm leaning really hard into that. Really hard, yeah. For any kind of psychological well-being, spiritual well-being, I'm leaning hard on that happening. So I'm very hopeful that happens.
Okay, Brou, Vegas has fallen a little bit out of love with the Ravens. Now the Steelers are the favorites to win, but the Ravens are only plus 185. Last 10 years, only 3 teams have made the playoffs after a 1-5 start. Or, last 10 years, 3 teams have made the playoffs after a 1-5 start.
Right, which is also crazy because in the last 45 years, 3 teams have made it. It's all in the last 10 is my point.
Oh, that's interesting.
From 1971 until 2014, nobody did it.
Huh.
So it all happened relatively
Brou, do you think Lamar's return can save your Ravens?
Yes, if what we saw last week was real improvement. Like, I thought the Rams were going to go in there and put up close to 40.
They should have, yeah.
Right? And with Stafford, with those receivers, I know Nakua got hurt, but that defense was not the problem yesterday or last weekend. So if the defense continues to play well, they are live because the offense was averaging 30-plus with Lamar. The schedule lightens up a bit. It's a little tougher than we probably expected because New England looks good. And the key, like I said last week, the key game is Chicago. If they lose to the Bears coming off a bye in an absolute must-win for the Ravens, then that just means you're going to lose some more games going forward. Like, you're not an elite team at this point. And so I think even if they beat the Bears, it's going to be hard to essentially sweep that division. They should sweep Cincinnati. The Browns that defense is tough. They had a little bit of trouble with them last time, even though they blew them out. It wasn't as bad as the score indicated. And look, the good thing for them is they get Pittsburgh twice, which is tough to beat them twice. But if you do, that has huge ramifications with the record. So, yeah, if the defense is really improving, and I'm not saying they got to be as good as they were against the Rams, but you're really steadily improving, becoming a top 15 defense or something, then sure, with Lamar back, they can make the playoffs, I think.
Do we have the full schedule there, Hubs, if we can put it up?
Yeah.
Here's the problem. Even if they were favored in all these games, which I don't think they might not be, the current longest win streak in the NFL is 3.
Oh, it was 4. It was Detroit, and then they lost.
So now it's
this
3.
Year's been odd.
So even if you beat who you're supposed to beat, you're gonna lose to the Jets. Aren't going 0-17.
So this is
something weird is gonna happen.
This is exactly right.
Wow.
And this is why I think they're dead. Barring a true Steelers collapse, to where like you can win the division at 8 and 9. The Steelers truly, if Rodgers gets hurt or something, the Steelers collapse. And I know I'm the poker player, you guys aren't, so I will try.
I've seen rounders.
Thank you. I
several
appreciate
times.
So, if the best hand you can have is aces,
Full house.
just stop. Just
Royal
please.
flush.
Can you not
But
be a
is it
smartass
royal
just
flush?
for a second?
Is it royal
The
flush?
royal flush is the best hand you can end with. But just put him on camera. He's so happy. Just give me a second here.
Okay.
If you give me aces every time and you get 2 random cards, and we just say we're going to go all in, by the 3rd time we do it, you're a favorite to have won one of them.
Oh.
So even though I have the best and you just have randomness, and I'm an 80% favorite every
Because of
time.
the nuts.
Okay, can you shut up for a second? I'm trying to make a real point. Even if you're...
I'm lost.
Okay,
I mean,
all right, so let me... I shouldn't have brought up poker. God, I hate you so much.
I used to play
the
way
point
back,
I'm making
way
is
back.
this.
The flop.
So what in English? Give me what's going on.
Even if you are a huge favorite,
Yeah.
80% favorite, the odds that you win, once you get to the 3rd time you're an 80% favorite, the odds over the entirety of that is that you lose one of them.
You're going to lose to the Raiders like last year.
Right, and so the point that I was going to make with the schedule is you keep saying, Brou, it all comes down to the Bears game, and I agree with you, but the problem is then it all comes down to their next game, and then their next game.
yeah.
He's like, pay that man his money.
Okay, I can't
From
talk
Rounders.
to this guy.
I have no
I
idea.
just
what's
can't
going on.
talk to this guy.
Or you won't pay that man his money. Don't splash the pot. All right, coming up next.
you shouldn't have brought
Coming
that
up
up.
next on the World Series of Poker, are the Chiefs fighting back and are the Lions in trouble? That's next on FS1, the Fox Sports Show on Sirius XM. John Turturro's like, hey, take it from me.
You're crying at your own show.
Our podcast is just rolling, and our YouTube channel is pretty good, Gianna. How would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say?
9.6.
Wow. Oh. Gianna says 10. It's the best.
Wow.
Best
You can't put up 9.6 fingers.
Impressive.
Give me a half finger.
Head into week 7. 3-3 Chiefs are in the driver's seat, according to Las Vegas. Mahomes now the MVP favorite, and the Chiefs now have the 2nd best Super Bowl odds.
Best in some shops.
In some shops, the absolute best. Some places overseas.
Yeah, and domestic.
Offshore.
Oh, I can't start this with you again. Let's just keep going.
You don't have to, you know what I mean?
Come
you
on,
go
buddy.
line shopping.
Yeah, there
Next
you
thing
go.
you know, Nick's taking a vacation in Bermuda. Flying with cash. Hey, TSA, why don't you check the backpack?
What are you doing?
How much are we allowed to bring over? I'm just saying.
What are you doing?
Well, it's a
You're gonna get
patriotic
Chris
thing. It's
every
a tax.
time.
Okay, can we do the show?
Sorry, are you buying the Chiefs are all the way back?
They're so back. And everybody knows they're back. And there's soft data and hard data. The soft data are things like University of Texas El Paso coming out with a peer-reviewed study, allegedly, that turns out the NFL's been rigging things for the
I
Chiefs.
saw that.
Dating back to the final 3 years of Alex Smith being the quarterback. Like, nothing screamed ratings bonanza than Alex Smith throwing screen passes in 2015. That's
Love
a study.
Missouri.
Yeah,
Missouri really-
It's just, there's that. The complaining from the opposition. And then the hard data, which is Mahomes is back to being Mahomes. And again, you guys don't have to love the tackle that turned the tide. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, since that Giants game, he is 4 touchdowns, 2 out of 3 games after doing it 0 in the previous 28.
4 total touchdowns after the tackle turned the tide?
In 2 of the 3 games.
Wow.
No, yeah, exactly. Thank you, KW. The team is scoring 30, seemingly at will, once again after doing it once in the previous 28 games. Or that's the 124 rating, pardon me. And then the 30 is, they've done it almost as many times in the last 3 games as they did in the previous 28. And they are only going to be getting better. Because now, for the first, Sunday will be the first time ever that they're, in theory, top 3 receivers. Hollywood, who I don't think is top 3 receiver on the team anymore, but him, Rasheed, and Xavier are on the field at the same time. And most importantly, Coach, Juju, who's been really good for him. Rasheed is going to take over that role. And you're going to have Rasheed and Travis Kelce, patrolling the intermediate, with Xavier and Tyquan Thornton making defenses respect the deep ball, and with Mahomes trusting his protection, which you saw their backup left tackle have a good game last week. I just don't know why the Chiefs aren't the scariest offense in the league again, which makes them the scariest team in the league again.
Okay. Well, there's good news. Kansas City's 11th in points per game defensively. That's good. They're 9th in points per game offensively. Good on the giveaway.
What about post-tackle return the tackle?
Yeah, good on giveaway takeaway ratio. That's positive. Mahomes is trending in the right direction in a bunch of categories, whether it's TD percentage, interception percentage, sacks are down a little bit. So his quarterback rating is actually up 6 points from what it was the last 2 years. So all those things are really good. But we're forgetting now, a week ago, they had 13 penalties. Right. They had a turnover. They lost the game. That was problematic. And they've only beaten one winning team. So I don't know if I'm ready to march down the street shouting how the Chiefs are back and the scariest team in the league when a week ago they were sloppy, they were undisciplined, and they lost. And they've beaten one team with a winning record. So how are they back?
Because here's the problem, Coach. And that
because Rashee Rice is back?
No, that's not it. That's not it at all.
Right.
But because here's the problem. Because your heart's not really in it. Because if I were to ask you, who is the scariest team in the AFC right now? I'll just say the AFC. Who would you say?
Well, you have to give it to the quarterback who is the best quarterback.
Thank you. I told you your heart's not in it.
Justin Herbert.
Your heart's not in it. The season-long numbers, Brou, to me, are kind of meaningless because.
But Nick, how are you ignoring the week before?
I say because here's the thing.
Disregarding
I'm not the tackle that turned the tide. Like I said, I'm not convinced that the juke move that. I can't remember the guy's name from Jacksonville put on Mahomes after in the pick six, the 99-yarder. That didn't erase the impact of the tackle that turned the tide.
That was a pretty good play.
That's what showed. Like, I will give you this: in big games, you trust them more than anybody. I mean, obviously from what they've done in the past, but this year, I mean, they did lose to Philadelphia. But outside of that, against, the Ravens, which was a big game, they looked great. Obviously, Detroit.
It really wasn't in retrospect.
Well, I mean, at that time, Lamar was there. And I mean, the Ravens' defense is poor at this point. We'll see if last week carries over. But that was considered a big game. Detroit was a big game. So, and Mahomes, I don't think Mahomes is back yet to what I think he's going to get better. I think with Rashee, it'll probably take Rashee a couple games. But I guess what I'm saying is I think they will get better. I think that defense coach, which like you said is 11th in scoring defense, I think that's going to get better. They've been better than that the past few years. There's kind of been this feeling, I think, that one side of the ball for the Chiefs can be great and the other can be good enough. I think both sides. I think the offense can be great. The defense can get much better.
I actually don't think the defense is as good as that number suggests because they're playing such low possession games. So points per game that is depressed because it's long possessions on both sides. I think the defense does need to get better, actually, particularly generating a pass rush with 4. But here is the reason the Jacksonville game isn't as disconcerting to me as it is to you. I have watched the Chiefs under Andy Reid for Mahomes' whole career. They are not going to be a highly penalized team. Like, that to me was aberrant, and they corrected it the next week. They lost that game because the greatest quarterback alive or playing today, I don't want to argue about Tom Brady, made a mistake that he makes once every couple of years. Didn't see a guy, and so like that, listen, that's on Patrick. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't, I don't think that's.
It was also a really good defensive play.
It was a great play, right. And the offense almost had 500 yards. Like, they moved the ball up and down the field. Now, that doesn't win you a football game, but giving you confidence that the Chiefs' offense is back to humming. To me, the Jacksonville game raised my confidence in that the Chiefs' offense's ability to move the ball, even though Patrick made the mistake and they committed a bunch of penalties. And you're judging them against their contemporaries. And in the NFL, this is
right now
there isn't a team you look at like, oh, man, what are you going to do with those guys? Everybody thought it was Detroit. And then Detroit came to Arrowhead and left Arrowhead whining about bullying.
Well, yeah. So more on that story. Brian Branch, as correctly predicted by Brou, Classic One, suspended for 1 game for his post-game fracas. He's appealing, but right now he's slated to miss next week's tilt against Tampa Bay. Lions seem to be on tilt.
Yeah, good job.
Poker term.
Yep.
Here's Kerby Joseph on Mahomes, who had 4 touchdowns. Take a listen.
How difficult is it against Mahomes when you guys?
It ain't hard at all, bro. Don't even say it's difficult. That shit ain't hard. We gotta do our job.
Oh.
He also then, Coach, either tweeted or retweeted 24 things whining about the officiating. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes, 22 for 30, 257 yards, 3 TDs, and a rushing TD. So what was it? That stuff's
Stuff's not hard.
Not hard. So if that's not hard and this is the result, what's going to happen when it is hard? And I have a real problem with minimizing what Mahomes did and to try to put it into a context of this isn't hard,
right,
and disregarding the problems that you have, because to me, then you're not going back into the film room and back to the next week of practice and really trying to dial in on what needs to be fixed. If you're just disregarding it as it was fluky or it's not that becomes a real problem, because you start overlooking stuff that now shows up week in and week out.
Well, Branch did a similar thing. He said, we beat ourselves. We beat ourselves. So, look, I want to say different teams and different players react differently to losses or whatever. But this does feel like a team being frazzled. And it reminds me of the Ravens. Like, clearly we see the Ravens knowing their S-Bob, knowing that the Chiefs have been their kryptonite. And when they play them, or, you know, whether it was the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties a few years ago in the AFC Championship game, but they just seem to get flustered and so upset when they lose to them. That's what I saw. Now, I think the Bills, even though they're S-Bob, I think they've handled things pretty well. There's some other,
yes.
Philadelphia, we know they have their issues, but they seem to be, you know, fairly even keeled with losses like this. This just felt like a team that knows it's under the gun to win the Super Bowl and wanted to come out and make a statement and wasn't able to do it, and they didn't react maturely.
Yeah, I'm surprised this game tilted their all-pro safeties the way it did. I mean, Kerby Joseph was first-team all-pro last year. Brian Branch is a great player. The Lions came into that game on the longest winning streak in football. I know you guys mentioned it yesterday. I think this game's in the balance. Amon-Ra St. Brown has his first drop in literally 2 years. First drop in 2 years, and the game is kind of played on the Chiefs' terms from thereafter. To not just take your loss like a pro.
Yeah, we'll get better.
Hey, they're a great team. They're better than their record suggests. That's why they've been to all these Super Bowls. We'll see them in February, maybe. Like that, and Dan Campbell did that. Like Dan Campbell, I thought after the game, he was like, I love Brian Branch. This isn't who we are. Dan Campbell, I thought, had great leadership. But I thought from the end of the game, Coach, worried me. And I'm going to keep harping on this. Their identity is toughness. It is the opening drive. You have a 9-minute smash-mouth opening drive. You have 4th and goal from the 6-inch line. And you don't trust David Montgomery. Instead, you ask Jared. The first play, remember, was going to be a Jared Goff rollout. Dan Campbell called timeout. The Chiefs had that one dead to rights. And then they decide we're going to have Jared Goff go try to catch a pass.
They are a cute team, though.
Yeah.
They like to be cute.
I just don't think that was, I guess, the time and place for it. 4th down on the opening drive. It just seemed anti their identity of who they're trying to be.
Yeah, and I think the anti their identity was across the board. So the comments are anti their identity. The lack of accountability was anti their identity. And the problem is the head coach is very consistent and his messaging is consistent, but it didn't seem to carry over to the players. And in terms of that play calling, it is still a new offensive and defensive coordinator, and there is still going to be some times and big moments, especially like this, where maybe the coordinator that was with him in the past, that they had shared those moments, would have gone to Montgomery, where Johnny Morton's still feeling his way, and hopefully he's learned from that and stays more consistent with their identity.
Do you think the coordinator in their past would have known the rule?
I don't think that falls purely on the coordinator. I think that's coordinator, head coach. That's a group effort.
Lions, Tampa Bay. That's a
big
It's a big game for Brian Branch to be out.
Yeah.
For Brian Branch to be out
especially
for no
with all
reason.
the other injuries too.
Yeah, they got 3 other
coming up
corners
next,
hurt.
a little baseball-laden episode of Weird and Wonderful, and are the
Coach,
Dolphins.
what's up, man?
That,
What's up with your boys?
This is when we get the weird one.
And Blake Snell with an all-time game.
He's really good.
All-time game that.
Can we let him finish?
Player hating. Tua and the Dolphins losing a heartbreaker, and after the game, Tua called out players. Take a listen.
It starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up.
Okay.
This is a stunning lack of accountability for your franchise quarterback and the highest paid guy on the team. Tua has a real tendency, in my opinion, especially in games where he has played poorly, to let everybody else know how many other people aren't doing their jobs well. And I don't like it at all. And I can't believe he goes to the podium and he's like, hey, we have these player-only meetings, and our player leadership, it needs to do a better job at buddy, if you're not the player leader, number one, who is? And so people looked at this as if it were a shot at McDaniel, and maybe it was. In my opinion, Tua owes 90% of that contract to Mike McDaniel, but set that aside. He's talking about player-only meetings, and he's airing it out after a game where he throws 3 picks. I think that's stunning. I think it's stunning.
I do agree that him saying, we have these players-only meetings, guys don't show up or they're late, that is an indictment of him.
Yes.
Because you're the leader. If you're saying, guys, we're going to have a player-only meeting and half the team shows up, that's on you. So it does put his leadership in question. Secondly, look, I think Mahomes could say this. I don't think he would, because Mahomes always puts it on himself, even when he's not to blame. Or Lamar or Josh, they could say it. I don't think any of them would say this.
Correct.
But you definitely can't say this after you threw 3 interceptions. You can't say this after against New England. You're driving late, down 3 in the fourth quarter. You throw an interception that kind of ends the game. You can't say this after against Buffalo. You got a chance to win. You're driving late. You throw the interception that ends the game. Like, the reason those guys aren't showing up for his players-only meetings or they're late is from the outside looking in, it looks like they don't respect him because you're the one making these bad plays, and yet you're calling us out. He needs to just go up there and say, look, even if even if you feel like other guys are to blame, look, I got to be better. I threw 3 interceptions. It's on me. It starts and ends with me. I got to be better. Leave it at that.
Yeah, usually the players-only meeting is a symptom of an organization that has some sickness, that has some problems, that has some issues. So then the players, the thought process is, we'll get together, kind of hash it out, have total honesty. But now when you're having multiple players-only meetings, that's real problematic. And then when people aren't showing up to the multiple player-only meetings, then we create a layer of problems. And then part of player-only meetings is to not have the coaches or the support staff there so that things can be private and in-house. So now you're taking the fundamental element of that and bringing it out into the media to call out everybody. None of it's good. None of it's good. It's not good for the coaches. It's not good for the players. It's not good for Tua. And unfortunately, this is heading down a path where there's probably going to be massive organizational change, I would imagine.
Last year, he fumbled a snap. It led to a safety. He goes to the press conference, says the center could have had a better snap. This year, he throws a pick, and he's like, Tyreek knows I can't throw it that far. That's on him. The guys aren't showing up for player leadership council meetings, of which he is the main player leader, and he's like, guys need to do a better job. It's all public, by the way. This isn't like it's being reported. He is standing at the podium doing this as the highest paid guy on the team and one of the lowest performing quarterbacks of any quarterback that's gotten a second contract of anyone in the league right now. It's outrageous.
And you're selling out everybody.
It's outrageous.
And
players.
A former player, he was just a practice squad guy 3 years ago with the Dolphins, came out and said Tua was actually late for a team.
And if that's the case, that to me is more of an indictment. I do think Mike McDaniel might run a loose ship. I do think that. But I also think that Tua has, because everyone, I think, respects the fact of what he has gone through and overcome and the danger he's put himself in by continuing to play, he has gotten kind of a kid glove treatment on, bro, you consistently throw your teammates under the bus in a way that wouldn't be acceptable if you were great. It is certainly not acceptable when you are a major part of the problem.
Gotta have a bowling night, probably. No, but you do have to have a bowling night. After this,
bowling night almost ruined our show.
Well, because we were in a good spot. It can go either way. It's very powerful. It's Drake May climbing up Mahomes Mountain. A lot of high fives. Like, when does it start? Like 6-ish. Just leave it open. Live from New York. Well, it's been an hour, and I still haven't ever met anyone from Washington State.
You've met.
I'm trying to be a Mariners fan, having a watch party, by my lonesome because I've never seen anyone from Washington.
You know Mina.
I met Mina a few times. Is she from Washington, actually?
Yes.
I don't
I
love,
know she
I
liked
don't love
the
your
Seahawks.
love of the Mariners. It's a little hurtful.
Yeah, Coach's family
He's
is
a bandwagon.
Blue Jays.
I have met tons of people from Canada.
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah.
So you should be on Toronto.
I can get you to those games in really good seats.
I'm a Mariners guy.
This guy.
You guys don't understand. I don't know any of it. Ken Griffey Jr.,
He's not okay.
Edgar Martinez. Today,
Ichiro, famously born and raised in Seattle.
Today, did the Bills let down Josh Allen, or did Josh Allen let down the Bills?
Well done.
Let's just think about it. Meanwhile, a brand new edition of Brou's MVP ballot, which he kind of like self-dissed earlier in the show. I didn't think it was necessary.
No, I just did want to make it seem like,
Brou.
the actual MVP award.
But it is to the show. All right. It means something.
I'm a humble sort.
Okay. But right now, we're headed on an adventure. Well, it's chilly without my gloves. Week 6 is in the books. What a wild climb we've had. Superstars have fallen prey to injury on the mountain. And surprisingly, a pair of Joneses, Mac and Daniel, have climbed pretty high. But the air is growing thin up here. Let's see who rises and who falls as we climb Mahomes Mountain.
Where are you?
I'll tell you what, at AI, not just doing chores. Not just comforting the elderly.
Yeah.
The old people get, because lonesomeness is an epidemic. You got those robots.
What is in your
That's
glass?
what I'm not saying,
Well, it's not funny. But first
It
of all,
ain't coffee,
First of all,
I'll
it's
tell
not
you
funny.
that.
Lonesomeness is an epidemic.
Brou, why are you crying with
Because
laughter?
the robots are there to help.
Listen, Brou,
Something's in there, bro.
for some reason, Wilds thinks the solution after a bad show like he had yesterday is to just do a one-man stand-up act.
Because lonesomeness is an epidemic.
this
You're
guy-
joking around about it. The robots are there to be like, hey, how's it
Time for the mountain. A lot of people off right now. Quarterback play in this league, I got to tell you, it's seen better days. The best of the best, like the top 10 to 15 quarterbacks, their numbers are really good. And then it's some really tough ones. Wilds literally has a tear dripping down his face from his own humor. This guy. Can we please show you who is off the mountain? Lamar and Brock because of injury. Justin Fields because the games are televised. Dylan Gabriel because it's not a 6 foot and under league. Cam Ward.
Oh, man, this was a shocker. This is mostly on coach.
Wait.
I didn't draft him number
Yeah,
You told me the offensive line would be great.
Callahan,
father and son's like Tommy
KW.
boy.
KW.
He's got to throw the ball.
He's got to
get rid
He
of
also, you picked him to go to the playoffs. Coach didn't tell you to do that. Can we go back to who's off the mountain without these interruptions?
Sorry.
Joe Flacco, it hasn't been good. Cooper Rush, I think that luckily Lamar's coming back. If not, I think you'd have to go Huntley.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you just can't. You can't trot. You can't trot him out anymore.
No question.
Bottom of the mountain. Bo Nix and Mac Jones next to each other. Mac threw for a bunch of yards. Also could have had 5 turnovers.
Well.
Fumbled 3 times. Threw 2 picks. Bo Nix.
End of controversy.
That's correct, Brou. There are 32 teams in the NFL. One of them's the Broncos. They played the Jets. The Titans also exist. The other 29 teams would have beaten the Broncos this past weekend with the quarterback performance they got. Luckily, they were playing the Jets. Tua blames the ice, I assume, for his place on the mountain. Bryce moves up a bit. Carson Wentz played well. And then Kyler, I can't take him off for injury because you got to miss multiple weeks. But Jacoby Brissett went in there and looks good.
Yeah.
And so
I thought they had that.
yeah, I thought they. I know you almost had a good one. All right, row 6. Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence. Same spot on the mountain. Weird. Jackson Dart. Listen, he got lost on his way to the mountain and started headbutting the mountain, but this is his moment for now. Penix, I thought, played well. They also, when they could have just taken knees almost late in the game, called a pass play that was this close to being a pick six to tie the game. It was one of the most ridiculous play calls and decisions I've seen, but I thought Penix played well. Geno back up. Geno is solid. Again, he's had a rough opening month.
Now, that's
just
how
one
far
pick.
it's fallen.
They got to
Only
win.
one.
And Spencer Rattler, not that bad.
He's actually
Not that you were scared if he got the ball back with
Terrified.
6 minutes left.
He's
Or
actually
down
good.
6, yeah. All right, now we're to the guys who are actually playing well. Top 15. J-Lo stays where he is. I didn't think he had a great game. He did make a great play at the end to seal it. Jayden, again, you remove his 2 worst plays, it was an awesome game. But those 2 worst plays probably cost him the game. Fair is fair. Aaron Rodgers has to move up. I think I'm very interested to see what a really good defense or a really good defensive coordinator does against the Steelers. But right now, this very, very, very quick passing game is working. Caleb handled the operation well, ran for a touchdown, had a touchdown taken off the board we didn't even talk about. It was one of his better throws and got him in field goal range late. And CJ off this week, not going to move him on a bye. Top 10. Sam Darnold, been really good. Like really good for a Seattle team. Hey, Seattle on the show again. Oh, yeah. That's just really good. Just credit where it's due. So the Seahawks, in my opinion, have proven they're a really solid team. Daniel Jones, once again, delivering. The Colts defense didn't play well this week. They won anyway. Goff has to drop. Not a ton, but drop a little bit. I didn't think he played great. Justin Herbert, weird one, because I didn't think he played that great. But he, for the second time this year, made an unbelievable play that saved the game for them. He did it against Denver, evading a rush, making a throw, and then did it this week. Top 6. Josh Allen has to move down. Fair is fair. Dak stays where he is. He's been excellent.
We've arrived.
Drake May.
Wow.
Moving up.
Thank you, bro.
Drake May. Wow. I looked yesterday. Wild said Drake May's passer rating in every game this year after week 1.
Yeah.
And the numbers were so high that I grabbed his paper and looked at it. I was like, is that correct? Because I forgot they had played 6 games. I was like, I know week 1 he didn't play, but since week 1, he's been like 105 or higher every single week. He deserves to be where he is. Don't reveal it yet. Now, last week, Patrick Mahomes was not atop the mountain. We had, for the 3rd straight week, someone new atop the mountain. It was Baker Mayfield. Patrick Mahomes, now 3 games post tackle that turned the tide, another 4-touchdown game, national TV, MVP favorite. I know what everybody's thinking. But the mountain is fair. Reveal row 2. Patrick stays where he is, and everybody's All-American Matt Stafford moves up because it would be outrageous to lower Baker Mayfield after the week he just had.
That's true.
So as great as Patrick is, Baker with his team being 5-1, Baker pulling off that 3rd and 14, Baker throwing to Tez Johnson, who's 145 pounds, dealing with his 4th, 5th, and 6th string wide receivers. Baker deserves to dropping him would have been outrageous. Did I consider 2 number ones, Did I, a little Texas Tech, Oklahoma redux? I did. But I said, you know what? We'll just leave it as it is. Wow. And that is America's most trusted and believable quarterback ranking service, Mahomes Mountain.
Great job.
Coach?
That was pretty good.
I am really proud of you that you're willing to put Mahomes lower than the top of the mountain 2 weeks in a row. I think that shows real
It's actually 4 weeks in a row.
Is it 4 weeks in a row?
Because it was Lamar, Josh. I don't know if it was ever I think it was Lamar, Josh, whatever it was.
I guess once you had a glimmer of hope
once
to put him back up there, I thought instantaneously he would fly back up. So that's really positive. Here's where I disagree. I don't know why Stafford moved up and Dak didn't. To me, that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fair. And here's my thought process on this. So they played Carolina, the worst defense in the league, or they played Baltimore, worst defense in the league, where Dak played Carolina, and I'm not saying they're the 85 Bears, but they're a lot better defensively than what Baltimore is. So that's one component of it. And then when you look at them head-to-head over the last 3 games, because I know this is a rich tapestry, but I just wanted to put it in a context of how good Dak has been playing compared to Stafford. And look, it's not crazy different, but I think the other significant part about this is what they have to deal with going into the game. Because every game Dallas has to go in with the 31st ranked defense in terms of points allowed, where the Rams have the 3rd best defense with points allowed. So Dak has to go in with the mindset of, I need to score 30 points, which is a ton of pressure without his number 1 receiver, where it's totally different from Matthew Stafford. He knows if he just gets to 20, then they're going to be okay, because they're giving up a little under that at about 18. So from a mindset and performance expectation, Dak has significantly more pressure game in and game out, and he's delivered, and I'm not sure why Stafford trumps him on the mountain.
Couple of reasons. One is, I guess, pressure's in the eye of the beholder, so to speak. Some would argue Dak is under less pressure than at any point in the last decade because the team has so little expectations at this point. When he's good, people give him applause whether they win or lose. But the other one is this, and I don't...
kind of taking a shot at his character. Like he doesn't care if he wins or loses.
No. That's not fair. I was not taking a shot at Dak's character. What I'm saying is I think that there is an added pressure when you're an SBOB team like the Rams or SBOB adjacent, Brou. You're the arbiter of SBOB, as opposed to a team where it's like, hey, nobody really expects anything from us this year. The other part of it is this, and I want your honest opinion on this.
Okay.
I watched that Rams-Ravens game, and it felt to me like the Rams were uber conservative offensively because they felt like if we don't turn the ball over, Cooper Rush can't get to 10 points. And because of that, maybe I'm wrong, I felt like if Lamar Jackson were starting that game, the Rams might have scored 30. Like that everything would have been different, but everything was kind of more constricted and so maybe maybe teams don't do that, but it felt to me like they had a game plan of don't make mistakes and we can't lose to this Ravens offense the way it is currently rolling.
I really thought that the mountain was structured based off of performance, not based off of subjective intent. I understand it's a rich tapestry. That's why I showed the last 3 games.
Yeah, as opposed to the whole season.
To show the rich tapestry.
Yeah, because if you showed the whole season, it's a match every
and I guess we can magically predict what the intent was of the different staffs in that moment, as opposed to what actually happened.
Okay.
And put him where he belongs.
Well, there is. It's not a quarterback wins mountain, but it certainly helps to win.
He tied up the game, and then they went on a 15-play drive and kicked the field goal to win the game.
Looks like he should have managed the clock.
Should he have gone out and played safety?
Yeah.
What do you want him to do?
Go ahead.
Look at Al.
All right. Josh Allen, he has to drop
more.
Yes.
More.
I mean, Josh really, when you really look at it, he's had 2 really good games this year. Baltimore, obviously, and Miami. And then after that, it's been okay. And I said it earlier, last 3 games, he's got 5 turnovers. 4 interceptions. Even if you take away the one that was late this weekend, last night, still. I mean, still 4 interceptions. Last year, that was his magic potion, right? Yeah. That he didn't turn the ball over all of a sudden. Now he's back to doing that. They've lost their last 2 games. And I am moving Sam Darnold up because Nick is right. He's been playing great. And that bomb he threw to Jackson Smith and Jigba
like that,
was yeah, because I'm taking him from you. Because you don't want him. You discarded him. I'm not even claiming him. I'm just saying the dude is balling. You couldn't have thrown the ball to JSN any better than he did. And here's their numbers compared to each other. Darnold's got him whipped in everything. TD to interception ratio is close. But again, Josh lately has been throwing a lot of picks.
9.6 yards per pass is unbelievable.
Incredible. And here's the other thing, right? And I like Kenneth Walker III, but they've got a bottom 10 rushing game right now.
No,
overall.
he's been excellent.
So he's kind of, believe it or not, even though they do have the great receiver, he's carrying the offense. It's not like they got this great run game and he's supplementing it. He's carrying it right now. They are a very good team. So, I think Darnold can move up.
Okay, so listen, I am not going to take any shots at how Darnold's played this year. I think he's been outstanding. And again, the mountain's not left to right, but oddly enough, Darnold was the first person on that row. And, I considered Darnold and Drake May. I considered that was the last call there.
What?
No, I did. I mean, Darnold's been that. You just saw the numbers. Darnold's been that good. The team, by the way, is the same record as Drake's, but set that aside. It would have felt unfair for me to drop Josh outside of the top 6. I understand the point you're making. He does, and on the bye week, he won't play. We'll see how he then plays at Carolina, which all of a sudden has become a tough place to win in Carolina.
Coach loves him.
They have the Chiefs. All right, KW, go ahead.
All right, so I'm putting Drake May. What did we come up with, Dusty? Because remember he was on the doorstep of Destiny? Then I put him in the mud room of Destiny. Then they were in the foyer of Destiny. Now we're nearing the kitchen of Destiny. And there's nice snacks laid out. My wife put some cheeses and stuff out. It's great.
What type of cheese?
There's all sorts of, one's a triangle, one's a soft cheese, and one's a hard cheese.
Is it brie?
The soft cheese is.
No, the triangle.
The triangle, maybe.
Yeah.
Raw stats for Drake May. This is just to
Raw stats?
Yeah, this is what I labeled this as raw stats.
Okay.
This is just to whet your appetite because I usually have 3 graphics.
Yeah.
This is just having the crackers out there and the cheeses. Gotcha. He's 4-1. That's first. Completion percentage, first.
Oh, this is since week 1.
Yeah, because that was a warm-up game.
He loves doing
Well, it's like how we treat the Chargers.
Week 1 counts.
Well, tell that to him because it was in Brazil. We can't talk about it.
We can talk.
It's just that was in Brazil.
We can talk about week 1. It just happens to be
I just took it out.
He
does. See, he makes it up. I just drew a line at the end of the Raiders
telling
game.
You, we can talk about
a bad Mahomes play. Okay. This is the main course.
Okay.
Drake May throwing the ball deep, coach. I did not see this because I thought Josh McDaniels' offense was mostly going to be a combination of a little bit of the Cam Newton offense, where Cam couldn't throw the ball in his Patriots tenure, and a little bit of the Mac Jones offense, who, although he throws a pillow, can't really sling it down the field. This is the highest completion percentage and passer rating by any quarterback in the last 10 seasons. It's just shocking.
A perfect passer rating is 158.3.
So I don't know why it's not perfect.
Honestly, it's probably...
How many deep balls does he throw?
1.
No.
I want to know,
He's thrown a lot.
13? 13.
Okay.
Yeah,
and we had one taken off the board.
Yeah.
Good sample.
And then here's a little story, let you in behind the curtain.
Okay.
We're on the 3rd floor, and Brou doesn't really talk to us during the day.
No.
Here, he's very friendly, but a lot of that is because he saves up all of his friendly energy just for these 2 hours.
Coach and I are up there.
Yeah, we're chatting like crazy.
We always chat.
Well, I never talked to Brou, and then finally I saw him. And he's like, wow, how lucky are you that you have a guy? I said, what do you mean? He said, you went from Tom Brady to Drake, if Drake is good. I said, Brou, are you considering Drake May like an all-time great? like he's the baby GOAT? Because it didn't come from me. It came from Brou.
I don't know that he said
I
all-time
didn't
great.
say
He
all
said
that.
a guy.
But it was a lot of it in first.
He said
a lot of it was.
If he becomes a
you know what
guy,
Brou
but
said
it felt
to
like
me?
it was in first.
He goes,
I
Nick,
told
you
Nick
had to
too.
go from, you had to wait for Lynn Dawson.
Yeah, that's
for
what he said
Patrick
to me.
Mahomes. And I was like, buddy, I was not alive for Lynn Dawson.
So
Yeah.
here's the nice all-time rate: 200 or more passing yards and 100 or more passer rating. Longest streaks by a quarterback, 23 or younger. Granted, there's a lot of qualifiers.
Yeah.
But it's Mahomes, Marino, Drake May, and Dak, who remember was on fire his rookie year.
That's pretty great. That's all great.
I'm
and
trying to figure 200 plus pass yards, 100
and
passer
streaks
rating.
for if you're 23 or before you
hot
turn
right now.
24.
Okay.
So that's
Basically,
great. Listen,
what it says is he's basically a
I'm not
combination
even-
of
That's
Mahomes,
good
Dan Marino, and
yeah,
Tom
that's
Brady.
great. I'm not
not jumping the gun.
Yeah.
It's just the stats, Coach. I don't know what you want me to do.
It was something
He's
more,
Dan Marino.
Something more important has happened here.
What happened?
And it is seminal for the show.
Oh my goodness.
Seminole.
Because once again, and I'm not even going to worry about the fact that for the third straight time, Wilds has broken the format. I'm
I
not
just
worried
wanted
about
to
it.
cement him there
I'm
'cause
not
you were gonna
worried
flip him
about
with
it.
Sam
The
Darnold.
format is this guy's too high, this guy's too low. Switch him. He doesn't do that anymore. That's fine. Does his own thing.
It's just a Drake May.
That's not. That's fine. That's fine.
His opportunity
Advertising.
to praise Drake May.
I think we all need to take a moment and recognize something. Show the whole mountain, if you would, please. And you're going to get mad at me, KW, but the truth is the truth. Jalen Hurts is on the 6th row of this mountain. He is on the same row as Spencer Rattler.
Who's good?
Trevor, KW, wait a moment. Trevor Lawrence. He is underneath Caleb, Aaron Rodgers, who throws for 300 yards once in 45 games, and not a single word of objection from him. Instead, he just was like, hey, Drake May, love where you're positioned.
letting it
No
slide.
problem.
I'm just
I'm
letting it
telling
slide.
you, you had an opportunity there to be like, hey, can the Super Bowl MVP
Not be on with Jackson Dart in his
not
aura.
be with Jackson Dart. And instead, so here is the real takeaway.
I'm letting it
You'll
slide.
always remember some fond moments with Jalen Hurts.
No.
But you've moved
Are
on.
flowers coming out?
No.
I'm still-
KW.
Definitely.
KW.
What do you want me to put up?
KW.
What, hey, Josh?
I
you
want
get,
you
It's just going to say Super
fight.
Bowl
I
champion.
just want you to fight for your guy.
I am.
No,
bonus tape. You know, I always
you
do
didn't
that.
even.
5
That's
weeks.
the other thing.
I always do
It would have been the
bonus
perfect
Like,
time.
first of all,
Jalen's
Hurts should be
way
that's
too
ridiculous.
low.
That's smart.
I was waiting for
That's
that.
what you do.
He didn't even do it.
Then you go
He
do
didn't
that.
even.
Nothing.
When
That's
I did it in real time, he interrupted me when I was doing off the mountain. Said other things about row 7. I say Jalen Hurts next to Trevor. Not a mumbling word from this guy.
That's a good point.
That's
You
really
didn't even
something.
give Jalen a second.
Not even a second.
All those
I'm telling you, all those
My guy.
tweets.
All those
tweets. How long until Drake May has a resume of Jalen Hurts, buddy?
Look, I'm still a Jalen Hurts
Are
guy,
you?
but it's just hard. The empirical evidence this year is a little bit rough.
Okay.
But I'm also
I'm just
confident that he
curious.
will climb.
You know how everybody will always know I'm a Mahomes guy? When the empirical evidence is against him,
they were
He's still a Mahomes.
they were 0-2. They were 0-2 and his numbers were bad. Did anybody be like, oh, is Nick souring on Mahomes? No.
I'm still a Jalen Hurts guy.
I know.
I'll put him on the mountain next week. Like, those 74 yards matter.
See,
I'm trying my best. Gotta meet me halfway here. Should the Bills be stressed out after a loss? Start your Saturday strong. It's Michigan going up against Washington, a state filled with people, but I've never met anyone from there. Big noon Saturday. Washington. Imagine if Washington wins this.
It'd be huge.
Holy cow! You got the
Michigan needs to bounce
Mariners
back.
rolling.
Michigan needs to bounce back.
Ooh, big noon kickoff starts at 10.
Yeah, they do.
Only on Fox. Welcome back to the show. Bills lost 2 in a row. This one by 10. Josh Allen held under 200 yards passing, sacked 4 times. Sean McDermott said, you know what, Coach? Not necessarily all his fault. Take a listen.
We're going to spend a lot of time looking at this thing and figuring out what's going on and fixing it. It was too hard tonight on our quarterback, and it doesn't need to be that hard all the time where he's having to run out of the pocket. Their pressure, I thought at times we picked up the pressure, and then at other times the pocket was getting affected early. So the rushing coverage, as you know, we talk a lot about that, and it was disrupting our offense.
Coach, blitz on 56% of his dropbacks, his highest since 2021. How much of this loss is on Josh Allen, and what do you think of McDermott's quotes?
Yeah, I agree with McDermott. It's not all on Josh Allen, and Buffalo's run defense has been poor. They're 30th in the NFL, 28th going into the game, 30th after the game, and Bijan Robinson rushes for 160. He has the longest rush of the season. And then they give up 10 completions to
Drake London.
Mm-hmm. So there's that issue. And then on the flip side of it, Atlanta's pass defense is number 1 in the league. So you're going into a situation where you don't stop the run very well. You're playing the best passing defense in the league. Not only that, but they historically bring a significant amount of pressure. And
Excuse me.
It's frustrating in the same way I'm sure Dak feels week in and week out, where he's got to play Superman ball, and that can be okay for a while, and he did a really good job of managing that last season and keeping the turnovers down. But when every single game it's got to be like that, then eventually these turnovers are going to continue to come. And when you look at the turnovers from the game, the first turnover didn't lead to points, and the second turnover, they were already behind by 10, so it would have been just to get a touchdown in order to kick an onside kick. The game at that point was already out of hand. Josh Allen has responsibility, but there are other inherent issues that Buffalo needs to address.
Yeah, look, I'm not absolving Allen at all. I've already talked about how, I would have dropped him on Mahomes Mountain. But I put more of this on the offensive line and the play calling. So James Cook was not in the game. James Cook averaged over 5 yards a carry last night. They had 9 third down plays. He wasn't on the field for any of them. All right. Yep. They had 1 fourth down play.
Because he's not their receiving back.
Right,
so
but also
happens to Derrick Henry a lot too.
A little decoy.
Sure.
That's my thing. Every time he's not on the field. To me, that's ridiculous. So I don't like that play calling. And then, Coach, we talked a little bit about the O-line. He was pressured on 47% of his dropbacks. That's the most since 2020 in the playoff game. Yeah. And then he was sacked 4 times. That's the most in more than 2 years. So I just think he rushed it, because of the pass rush. He did end up, I thought that first interception, he kind of rushed and got frazzled. But not absolving him, but there were a lot of other factors where I do think McDermott made a little sense.
Listen, all that's true. And look, the only reason this team is considered a great team, potentially, and has Super Bowl aspirations, because of that player. Mm-hmm. I think he's the second best player in the entire league. Everybody thinks he's at least one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the entire league. Some people argue he's the best. But last night specifically, Atlanta was on fire early, and then, they almost put the game away in the final play of the first half, but going for that cost them points, and then they were stuck in the mud the whole second half. The Bills had the ball 3 times in the second half, down 7. Go score to take the lead or get a field goal to really put pressure on them. They only moved the ball once. The other times were 3 and outs. The one time they did move the ball, Josh did that kind of ridiculous push pass on 4th and 2. And here is my frustration. Brou, you know how I've said the best life in sports is being the 17th best player in the NBA? Somewhere 17 to 25, where when you're great, you get all the love. Right. And when you're not great, people are like, the best player on the team needed to be better. It feels to me like Josh Allen, even though he's the defending MVP, lives in that world narratively. When the Bills look awesome, we never come on and be like, man, that offensive line is just the best. James, it is Josh Allen is playing the position as well as anybody who's ever played it. It's that he is neck and neck or is past Patrick or all these things. And when they lose in a game that he did not play well, again, I think it's rare that he doesn't play well, but he did not play well. They scored 14 points. We're saying there's a bit of he needs, the rest of the team let him down. And I do think they are a flawed roster, and I do think they need to improve on things you're talking about to win a championship. But I think last night, he was part of the problem.
He was.
I understand that, but we're talking about a running back that had 160 yards. That's not even counting what he had in receiving yards.
240.
We're talking about a wide receiver that had 10 catches. They weren't able to affect Michael Penix at all, so he didn't have any turnovers. He was sacked a couple times, but that's radically different. Atlanta was coming off a bye, so I would imagine the blitz package was more extensive than maybe what they would have gotten in a traditional week. So I'm not trying to take him off the hook, but I do agree that there are other systemic problems with this team that he can't overcome every week by being Superman.
That's totally fair.
Last year when the Bills lost their second game, they rattled off 7 straight wins, so maybe they get on a roll. Steelers are 4-1 and in first place. They're headed to Cincinnati to play Flacco and the Bengals. Mike Tomlin, who is a fan of 40-year-old quarterbacks, not too happy that the Browns traded Flacco to the Bengals. Take a listen.
It was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us, because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.
Brou, your reaction to Mike Tomlin.
Look, I love Tomlin, calling out, naming names and the whole thing, giving his view. But I don't blame the Browns at all. A player they're done with, Joe Flacco, that they can get a 5th-round pick for, sure, they're going to do it. And if I'm the Browns, I couldn't care less whether Pittsburgh or Cincinnati wins the division. It's not going to be us. Our season's over. We're looking at our 2 young quarterbacks. So I get where Tomlin's like, you making it a little tougher on us.
Are you?
But, well, look.
I guess.
Flacco's better than Jake Brown.
I wasn't last year. I'm saying
Browning.
Jake Browning was hot for a little second last
2 years.
Flacco could probably have 3 or 4 good games in him, and maybe one will be against Pittsburgh. But no, I get where Tomlin's coming from. I like his energy, but I got no problems with what the Browns did.
Mike's been there a long time. I can't remember press conferences where he called out specific people.
Yeah.
Like, this is so out of character. But I absolutely understand where he's coming from, because they've got to play Cincinnati, twice now? And before they had to play Cincinnati with one situation that wasn't very good for Cincinnati. But you throw Flacco in the mix, Flacco's a little bit like Jameis Winston. If he catches fire with those offensive weapons, he can hang 30 on anybody. On any given day, that player with all those other pieces, and they could disrupt the whole way that division unfolds by trading that quarterback. So I see why he's frustrated with it.
I just want more of this. I want more on-the-record coach and executive criticism of each other.
Love it.
And Tomlin has the gravitas and his team's winning and the track record that he can do it. Like, you saw Brian Daboll, you weren't here. You'd have loved this, coach.
Okay.
Brian Daboll last week, getting ready to play the Eagles, he was asked about A.J. Brown and being unhappy. And he starts off with the regular pablum. He's like, yeah, listen, they have a lot of good players. That's a good problem to have. And he's like, but if you watch the film, A.J.'s open a lot. Really trying to mix stir it up. But that is a little more typical than this is a la Pat Riley to Danny Ainge, just not as caustic, like a real. So I loved it. I thought it was great.
Brian's was a little more subtle.
Yeah, Brian was more subtle, and he's not naming a name. Him saying Andrew Berry was pretty good.
Flacco 11-11 against Tomlin. So
yeah,
a little bit stressed out. They play on Thursday. Maybe this will be interesting.
That would be funny if they win.
Finally, Penn
for
State
the Ravens,
preparing for Iowa in their first game without coach James Franklin, who was fired after losing to Oregon, and then he lost to UCLA, and then he lost to Northwestern. He's owed $49 million. It's the second largest buyout ever. We had this graphic before we were previewing the Oregon game, that although Franklin had been a really good coach, against ranked opponents he wasn't good. Against top 10 he was worse, and against top 5 he was even worse at 1-15. Ohio State and Michigan 4-17. So do you agree with Penn State's decision to move on from James Franklin?
No. And I think Penn State doesn't necessarily understand who they are without, it's weird to say without Joe Paterno because he was there for 50 years. But Penn State's not Alabama and they're not Ohio State, and really those are the only two schools that are Alabama and Ohio State where it's like we're actually SBOB every year, and I have seen at varying levels, Michigan thought we're too good, like Lloyd Carr. You want to one championship with us, but we're Michigan. We're supposed to win a bunch, and you're really not. Like, you're a great program, but you're not supposed to win 10. And they were in the wilderness for 15 years. My school, Syracuse, was like, we weren't competing for championships, but Paul Pasqualoni, we were consistently a top 25 team. We're better than that. And then we went 20 years since we fired Pasqualoni. We were a top 25 team one time prior to last year. And Nebraska, after Tom Osborne, they have Frank Solich. Frank Solich is good, but it's like, man, with Tom Osborne, we were like winning all the national championships. They still haven't recovered. And James Franklin had limitations. There's no question about it. But you had the lead. You were the number 3 team in the nation playing Oregon with a lead in overtime 20 days ago. And now you're just going to be on Florida State, Jimbo Fisher. We won a national title with you, but we can do better. They haven't recovered. Like, it's tough. It's a risky, expensive move.
Yeah, I like James Franklin a lot. I got to know him over the course of time, and I think he does a great job. I do think his numbers against ranked opponents, that was a problem, and I would imagine they were thinking about moving on from at the end of the season, and then he lost those 2 games by teams that he was favored by 20 points or more, which hasn't, I don't think, happened in the history since the FBS and FCS split, so that was problematic. The only way this makes sense to me is if this somehow gives him advantage in recruiting and the NIL portion of it, to make the move earlier rather than later, so there's some certainty with the kids that are there, the kids that potentially are coming in there. That's the only way that it makes sense.
But they won't know who the coach is.
They may not, but they know that the change is happening. And I understand what you're saying in terms of programs, but you look at a guy like Cignetti at Indiana, and I'm sure Penn State is saying, it doesn't matter what we've always been or who our identity is, because the NIL and the way transfer portal, the world's changed.
I do also think, Nick, you're downplaying Penn State a little bit. Like with Paterno, they were right there with Ohio State.
Yes.
And Franklin, to his credit, got them back. They hadn't been in the top 20 in like 5 straight years before he got there, 4 straight years, something like that. And 7 of his last 9 years, they've been in the top 20, several of those times in the top 10. But like Coach said, he couldn't beat the great teams. And if I'm Penn State, I do want to – I'm looking at it like I want to get to where Ohio State is. Like, I think we can. I think Franklin clearly was a great recruiter, but in-game coaching seemed to be a problem when you can't beat any of these top teams.
One interception away.
Still, overall, his record against great – now, I agree with maybe moving on. I just think this was the wrong time. I would have let him play out the rest of the season. And maybe you turn it around, whatever, but let it play out the rest of the season, then move on after.
Yeah, but you better hire the right guy.
I agree, like with Indiana or.
Yeah, you can't.
There's some guys that they've, I'm sure, identified. Yeah. It's whether or not they can get them.
Iowa State's got a
people are talking Matt Rule.
He's a Penn State guy.
But I don't know that he's better than James Franklin.
I don't know. Fresh episode of Bru's Ballot. Coming up.
A lot of changes.
Ooh, exciting.
A lot of changes.
That's next. Breaking news. Even though he's only 500, he is a Super Bowl champ and MVP, and he's trying to put another trophy in his trophy case. Mahomes now has the best odds to win MVP, according to our friends in Las Vegas. But does he appear on the only ballot that counts on this show, which is Bru's Ballot? Brou?
Bunch of new faces.
Wow.
Bunch of new faces. All right.
I'm nervous.
Number 5, Bijan.
Wow, I love it.
I like a non-quarterback.
I almost threw Nick Benito on there, too.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, I almost threw him on there. Just regrets about that. But he's on pace, right? He's only played 5 games. He's leading the league in yards from scrimmage, on pace to break the record. And he's got essentially a rookie quarterback that he's getting this done with. And so he's the focal point of that offense that's making
He's
them click.
averaging 70 receiving yards.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
incredible.
Yeah.
And he's third in the league in rushing, so incredible.
I love it.
All right, at number 4, Sam Darnold.
One of my guys. I'll take it.
Oh, now he's one of your guys.
He's on the ballot.
Now he's one of your
He
guys.
kind of has been one of Wild's guys.
Yes, but he tried to
but
deny
he kind
it.
of dumped him.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Brew and I
didn't-
kept calling him Wild's guy. He's like, I'm not a Sam Darnold guy. I just like 14 wins and 4,300 yards.
He was
Everybody
a Sam
knows
Darnold
that.
guy for a while.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
don't expect him to stay on this all year, but right now I can't deny him. He's balling. All right, at number 3, Patrick.
Wow! I love it.
Mahomes in the big, and I get it. The Ravens might not look like a big game now. It was
In
a
the
big
moment
game
it
then. He had
was.
4
They were 1 and
touchdowns,
2.
3 passing, 1 rushing. And then, of course, just against Detroit, 4 touchdowns.
All these guys were
getting
not
better as
ranked.
he's getting guys back. I know, it's a whole different. Wild, you gotta love it. Drake May.
He was so enthusiastic. I'm like, I'm definitely getting tricked. I tried to say stone face.
Here's why. Look, here's why. Despite the resurgence from Stephon Diggs, he really doesn't have great weapons. He's making Kayshon Boutte like a household
An
name.
all-pro, yeah.
I mean, like the run game, he's almost their leading rusher. He's got like 19 yards less than Ramondre Stevenson, who we know has had the fumble. So May is like the
All these
driving
guys
force
were
between
unranked.
this
I
run.
like it.
And then the first one, obviously, Baker Mayfield.
I love
That's
that
the
it's
only one
obvious.
from last year, or last week. So
Can I ask you
yeah.
a question? Any thought for everyone's All-American, Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, and
Or
he was on
Daniel
there.
Jones?
Yeah. I mean, I thought both of them were in strong, and I still have Goff. Right now, Goff's leading the league with 14 touchdown passes, so was in consideration too.
Like I like Drake May on the ballot, but I think you're getting a little influenced by Wild.
Well, I don't expect him. I don't
Mahomes
expect him
ahead
to
of him.
stay there either.
Mahomes has won half his games.
Wouldn't you say, Coach? Look at like what the help he has. I get Josh McDaniels
Coaching.
and Vrabel and all that, but I'm talking about
Matt Jones went
weapons.
to the Pro Bowl with Josh McDaniels. I'm just saying.
All the guys on there have better weapons than him.
That part's definitely true. Well,
So-
Bijan is the weapon. So that's a little, but yeah.
But so
I love Bijan being one.
I do too.
Live from New York, it's a show that is all in on the Mariners now. All in.
We
Get
as
some Starbucks.
As a network, we need the Blue Jays to extend the series.
Okay, but I am a Mariners guy.
Because
through
you're
and
just a
through.
front runner.
No, I love Starbucks and I love the Mariners.
Okay.
And I like George Kirby.
Also,
And
people you
Microsoft
know
products.
from Washington. How about face of the network, Colin Cowherd?
I forgot. He's the only person I know from Washington.
Aside from the other people you mentioned.
A handful of famous people.
Yeah.
But I've just never met a guy in the bar say, hey, I'm from Washington.
When you walk up to people at the bar,
Yes,
just
I do.
ask them,
Hey,
hey,
I am from Connecticut. Yes, where are you from?
I'm from. Are you from like the shipbuilding capital of the world or something?
Submarine capital.
Submarine capital of the world.
Keeping everybody safe. First things first, overtime. Today, have the Chiefs played their way up Danny's top 10. It's top 10 Tuesday. I should have said that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, why don't you call it Danny's Dozens? No. The guy loves.
A lot of people are saying that.
Whatever was happening in the Syracuse class, there was a point where, like, listen, guys, the most important thing you can do is T alliteration, okay? Tackle it turns the tide. Tuesday's top 10. They're like, okay, you got it, Professor.
That's exactly what happened.
Meanwhile, did the Bills get exposed last night? Are they actually not that good? We're going to find out. Also, it's going to be a topic on Top 10 Tuesday. But right now, the Bears have won their third in a row after the Commanders commit their third turnover of the game. Caleb moved the team down into field goal range, and Jake Moody salvaged his career.
Yeah.
Here's Caleb postgame.
I think being able to stay strong in those moments mentally is most important, and that's what I did. That's what we did. We stayed steady through all the ups and downs that we had and adversity throughout this game. We stayed steady as a team mentally. We didn't flinch, and we kept going.
All right, Danny, what did your Bears prove with the win?
That was a sigh of relief for me last night, boys.
The panic tweets are too much, dude.
I was so
Caleb, do something. Like, settle down, you're stressing me out.
Well, Then you may as well have been watching with me because I was stressed. I was like high strung because that was. Listen, it's early in the season. I understand that, but that was playoff win adjacent for the Bears last night. Like they lose that game, season's over. I'm going to be like fighting to get them into the D block of the show, right? Like they would be 2-3 tiebreakers, NFC playoff picture coming out of a bye, 3 takeaways in the game. Like that would have been a devastating loss. And we'll talk Caleb in a second. I'm sure we always talk quarterbacks, but to me that was the signature Ben Johnson game. That was just like he got his signature win. The Bears completely buy in because I said it to you guys last week. Like, are they going to get better? Out of a bye, are they going to get better? Am I going to see signs of coaching? And I thought across the board, the penalties were still there. Caleb was still inconsistent. But the things that he set out to improve, they hadn't been running the ball, right? Like, we can show you all this stuff. They hadn't been running the ball, 26th in the NFL. They had their best running game of the season. Troy Aikman at the beginning of the broadcast, he's like, if they're going to move the ball, they're going to have to do it through the air. DeAndre Swift had his best game as a Bear. Like, it seemed like they solved the rushing attack against the top 10 rushing defense. Then, the Bears were literally the worst rush defense in the NFL, and the Commanders were literally the best yards per carry offense in the NFL, and they stonewalled them. They held their running back to 3.5 yards per carry. Jayden Daniels didn't kill him on the ground. Like, marked improvement, rush offense and rush defense. And this, every Bears fan just can feel it, but then I can also back it up by the numbers. It's just a game the Bears always lose. And under Matt Eberflus, they literally were the worst in the NFL in one-score games, and they came out and figured out a way to win the game. So Caleb, Jayden, I wanted it for Caleb for all those narrative reasons and national stuff, and we can talk about it. But, like, the playoff hopes are alive, and Ben Johnson actually made an impact on the team.
Yeah, it was a good win for all the reasons you said. I don't think Caleb, like he was inconsistent.
He missed the 2-point conversion throw. He wasn't great.
But he was steady, and he didn't try to. I mean, he wasn't spectacular, which I kind of like. He can make the spectacular plays.
Yes.
But I like the fact that he was seemingly content just to, play on time and get the ball to the playmakers. Like you said, Swift was terrific. I don't think he did anything, Caleb, to make me think he's better than Jayden. Like right now, I firmly feel like Jayden is better. Now, I am willing, because they're both so young in their second year, and we see what happened with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
That who knows who will end up being the best in this class. Right now, I would say probably Drake or Jayden. But Caleb can be in that mix. Like, maybe he'll get going eventually. But
go ahead.
Right now, though, it's clearly Jalen, even with the 2 bad turnovers he had last night. But it was a good win for the Bears. And like you said, it keeps them in the mix. They got their next game, they should win.
I mean, Saints, Bengals, Ravens, Giants are
so
their
they
next
should
4.
be able to run off a couple more wins before they get to the Ravens. But
is it Saints?
Saints, Ravens, Bengals.
And
Giants,
so what I do think is, they're at home against the Saints. The Saints are better than a 1-5 team, but they're still a 1-5 team. And so that's a game. Losing that game undoes a lot of this.
Yeah.
But you win it, and they're a favorite. Now you're 4-2 facing a Ravens team that we'll see what they look like. And for Caleb, this is the stretch where he can start putting up real numbers. The Saints defense can get got, the Ravens defense exclusively gets got, and the Bengals are bad at everything at the moment. And so you go 2-1 in this stretch, and all of a sudden you're 5-3, and you're feeling good about those things. I understand, just to give you a little context on Danny's tweets, this is almost a year to the date of this guy literally dropping to his knees in pain when these teams played in a standalone national TV game and the Hail Mary happened.
I'm really sorry you had to witness that.
That essentially ended the Bears season.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's an overstatement to say this had not playoff pressure, but if the Bears lose and they fall to 2-3, the Commanders lose, they fall to 3-3. They are in 12th in the NFC. Right now, the Commanders are in 12th place. Like, they are going to be fighting uphill the rest of the year because of the time missed by Jayden and this loss because the NFC is so congested. The Bears would have been in even worse shape. So I agree with that piece of it. I think that Jayden is Jayden was unbelievable last year. Jayden has, in my opinion, up to this point this season, not been. Part of that's because he got hurt, but he played away last night. That makes me worried. That's not going to be rare. Last night, I was consistently worried he was going to get hurt, and I don't think if we're elevating him, or he elevated himself into the conversation of the best quarterbacks in football, the best quarterbacks in football, they lost that game because of those turnovers. Yeah. And if the game were flipped and Caleb had a lead and Caleb mishandled a snap and they lost because of it, it would be endemic of a bigger issue. And so Jayden, I understand, has earned a benefit of the doubt in that regard because of how well he played last year. But I think that the best quarterback from this class is going to be an ongoing discussion because 5 weeks ago, there was no argument for Drake May after week 1.
No.
There was less of
now
there's
he's
more
like
of an
Dan
argument.
Marino.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's more of an argument for Caleb in this moment than there was for Drake May 5 weeks ago.
But I would argue it's a two-man race right now. Now, I'm not saying Caleb can't get in it, but right now it would be Drake and Jayden.
All I would say
is now.
Yes, I agree with you. I would say, though, and I know I default to the eye test, Caleb's natural talent is right there on par with Drake May's natural talent, which is spectacular. Like I do think
Caleb doesn't look as smooth and comfortable as a lot of quarterbacks.
He's still not completing enough passes. Just raw. Like
the completion percentage is lower than it should be for sure. But I don't know. 2 plays I could show you from last night where we would come in today saying Caleb Williams had a monster game, and I don't think it's that much of a margin for error. The illegal formation call on the left tackle that takes the touchdown
it's a great play.
Off the board. This is a great throw in a great spot late. Him and Roma Dunze are developing.
It's a great throw.
It's a great play. And this is a very questionable call. I mean, they were questioning.
That's a Juwan Taylor.
Yeah.
No
30
doubt. Penalties on
and they're making it a point of emphasis. Yeah. I get it. This isn't a blame the refs thing, although they were bad last night. But that was a great throw. He doesn't get credit with the touchdown. And then late in the game, the throw to Zacchaeus backed up again. This is going to be a 97-yard touchdown or maybe a 50-yard completion. Yeah. It's the fastest guy in the field in stride with no one on the left third of the field. If we came in today and Caleb had 2 passing touchdowns, 330 yards, and a rushing touchdown.
But we can probably do that most games with a quarterback.
But not the overturn. The overturn one, I think, is more fair than that one.
Like with Mahomes, we could say if Kelsey catches that ball against Philadelphia,
let's say
they win that game.
That's what I'm just talking about, though, to your point of how Drake May 5 weeks ago wasn't in the conversation. Those 2 plays are definitely.
Drake also had a touchdown taken off the board.
Yeah, can I ask you a question? Because you.
Yeah, but then I got to ask Danny a question.
Okay, then you go. You're the host.
Because I sit next to Danny in my shared office upstairs, and I don't know what was going on because I also listened to this Ben Johnson post game in the locker room, and I think because I'm like a Patriots guy, I'll listen to Mike Vrabel once. And be like, wow, that's cool. The vibes are good. He had it on repeat like a song that he liked.
Had what on repeat?
I'm not joking around. I was going to be like, no, I can't hear it another time. I don't know if you guys were doing like a social video, but like the vibes, honestly, in that locker room was something. They have like chants. They're like a summer camp.
Good, better, best. When your good gets better until your better gets best.
So you really
Bears on 3, 1, 2, 3, go.
But
Bears. I may have memorized it.
You're starting to believe in the Bears in a real way. It's a long way of saying.
Absolutely.
Because they believe in them.
And that's why I want again, Caleb Jayden is like the sexier conversation, but they are 110% bought in on Ben Johnson, and I really think he's changed the culture in Chicago.
Just listening to it like a song.
It was amazing.
Run it back.
I'll send it to you, bro.
It's too much. Sorry.
I'll send it to you.
All right, can you save your question for maybe the post-game show? Time now for Top 10 Tuesdays.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We could call it Danny's Dozens, but it's Top 10 Tuesday. And before I give the 10th best team in the NFL, guys, I'll just say the Panthers shut out the Falcons, who beat the Bills. No one knows anything. I'm not sure anyone's good other than the team that's coming up at number 1. We'll get to that in just a minute. But coming in at number 10, holding on by a thread, my Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert had another amazing play that 3 guys on the planet can make. To Ladd McConkey, we'll show it to you here. But you could put 8 guys designated to return from IR, but you don't get extras when they come back. The Chargers already have 7 on the list. Like, they have just been decimated by injury, and this guy is keeping them afloat almost single-handedly. As long as he's healthy, I think they're going to be
Beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
You become a top 10 team.
All right,
Beat the Dolphins last second win.
They're hanging on. No,
Right.
They stayed in the top 10. It's been 2 weeks since I've done this. Coming in at number 9, the Green Bay Packers. I'm just not impressed by what I'm seeing. The talent is undeniable. The ceiling, when it looks right, is great. They've got 4 sacks in their last 3 games. They've been outscored in the second half in 3 straight games. They are wildly inconsistent. Their best might be as good as anyone, but we don't see it that often. Coming in at number 8, the Rams. I was questioning what Matt Stafford was going to look like at this age with that back behind this offensive line, and he has made me look foolish because he is off to his best start since he took them to the Super Bowl. I mean, those numbers across the board out of the gate are ridiculous. It's been a tough schedule. It's a very tough division. We'll see how it shakes out. But, like, if you've got Matt Stafford, everyone's All-American, playing at that level, they're going to be in a lot of games. I know a lot of people have the Colts higher than 7 because of just
record,
exactly. But the only team that they've beaten that I would consider for the top 10 and they didn't make it are the Broncos. So it's an inflated record based on the opponents, but they do deserve for us to point out how good their offense has been. First in points, first in rushing touchdowns, fewest sacks, 4th in yards, 5th in passing. Like, we're going to get a chance to see it as their schedule gets tougher as it goes, but they firmly deserve to be a top 10 team as of now. Coming in at number 6, you can make an argument for them to be lower because the vibes are awful, but I'm still giving a little bit of a benefit of the doubt to the champs. I don't understand how they could be a team that had 27 in the second half against the Rams and or 26 in the second half against the Rams and 27 second half points the rest of the year. Like, we've seen them be great.
Really?
Yeah. They have scored 27 second half points
outside
of that Rams game where they scored 26 in the second half.
That's wild.
It's an insane level of inconsistency from a team that's like, we like the running back, we like the quarterback, we in theory like the coach, we like the line. I don't get it, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for one more week. Coming in at number 5, Seattle is wildly impressive. You lose to Tampa by 3. You got 3 road wins already. Your 2 losses are by a total of 7 points, tied with Detroit for the best point differential in the NFC. What on there doesn't scream like offense, defense, point differential, the road record? I just continue to be impressed, and I was dead wrong on Sam Darnold. This, I'm sure there will be some disagreement on. I give you the benefit of the doubt, Buffalo. If you have been good for multiple years, and there's a theme here at the top for multiple years, I'm going to drop you at a slower rate than the other teams. But I cannot ignore that your 4 wins are against teams that have a total of 3 wins total. So that part of it is undeniably not good, but I am choosing to believe that this is a speed bump for Buffalo. Josh Allen will stop turning the ball over, and they'll get back to being the dominant offense that they've been. Coming in at number 3, coming off the loss to the Chiefs, the Detroit Lions, similar thing. They have been dominant for 3 straight years on the offensive side of the ball. They ran into the Chiefs. That was a bad spot. Unbelievable opportunity for them against, coming up at number 2, Bucs-Lions this week. Cannot wait for the game. Tampa, I don't fully understand, honestly, how the offense is doing this. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin, no Bucky Irving. Emeka Egbuka gets hurt in the game, and it doesn't matter.
That's how they're doing.
Because the should-be favorite for MVP, The Bake Show, and narrative-wise, he absolutely would get it if it was voted on today. The guy is just unbelievable. All the one-score victories, all the respect in the world, and I cannot wait for Bucs-Lions. It's the marquee game of this week. And then, yes, Nick, at number 1, I had like a moment of weakness.
3-3.
I'm going to call it a moment of weakness. Yeah, 3-3, no doubt. Who on this list?
Tiers hasn't even come out yet. The Chiefs are number 1 in herd hierarchy and number 1 in Danny's top 10. Tiers might have them lower. I don't know.
Listen,
we'll see.
Obviously they're 3-3, but who 2 through 10 would you pick to beat them tomorrow?
The two teams that did beat them.
But
you would pick the Chargers tomorrow to beat the Chiefs?
Not tomorrow. They're a different team because they're injured.
But what about Jacksonville?
I would not pick Jacksonville.
Wasn't that long
ago.
They
would.
They played, yes, but I tend to not overreact to one game in the NFL for a team that has the body of work of the Chiefs.
After what? Oh, okay. I was going to say after what you just said about the Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no,
Flying
Ben Johnson's
high on the
arrived.
Chiefs a little bit.
Ben Johnson.
No, look,
listen, it's a perfect top 10.
I agree. Look, there's no one definitive team you would say is playing way better than anybody. The Chiefs have the track record where you give them the benefit of the doubt, and they've got a few really good wins. So it is what it is. I think the Seahawks, though, too high.
Oh.
You said they played Tampa Bay close.
That was a great
Everybody
game.
plays Tampa Bay close. The Jets played Tampa Bay close. And I like Tampa Bay. I'm not arguing where they're at. I'm just saying the Seahawks are 0-2 or 1-2 at home. You gotta protect home. If you're the 5th best team in the league, I think you got to protect home better. One of those losses was to San Francisco, which even in the first game of the season still has some injury issues. Even
But they
then.
still had Purdy.
They had Purdy then, and he made heroics at the end of the game. But I'm just saying, I think you could argue any of those teams below the Seahawks, I might take over them. I'd probably take the Rams over them. I definitely take the Packers over them. I get Philly with the bad vibes that they're having. Indy, I'm not totally sold on yet. I probably would take your Chargers over them, though.
It's just like the Packers lose to Cleveland. That's worse than anything on Seattle's resume. Philly gets blown out by the Giants. Worse than Seattle, you lose week 1 to San Francisco by 4. You lose to Tampa by 3. They've been wildly consistent.
All right. Danny, so it seems like, as you said, one of your themes is you are incorporating into this list track record. Teams that year in, year out show you who they are.
Yeah.
Why does that not apply to the Chargers? Because their track record is fraudulence. Their track record is that year in, year. Well, so hold on. So did Jacksonville, who's not on there, who should be in that 10 spot. Jacksonville beat the Chiefs just like the Chargers did. Jacksonville, in addition to beating the Chiefs, beat San Francisco and Houston, with their losses coming to Bengals with Joe Burrow, so that's different than the Bengals now, and Seattle even number 5. The Chargers beat Denver, who's not on your list, along with Miami and Vegas, who wouldn't be on your list if it was 25 teams deep, and their losses are to the Giants and to Washington. And again, it's like, well, I trust one quarterback more than the other. Should you? I don't know. They played each other in a playoff game. One guy melted down. The other guy had the 4th greatest playoff comeback in NFL history in the year he finished 7th in MVP voting. Everybody knows this.
Okay, so you say that. Do you actually trust Trevor Lawrence more than Justin Herbert?
No, I don't.
No.
But it's not.
That's
It's
why
not. No. But he's not number 10. The team is, and it's this weird math we do about the Chargers. If they're the 10th best team, then I guess the expectation is they'll overcome the injuries. That there's no excuses. It's not the IR thing. Because I agree, a healthy Chargers team could have been really good. But I don't think they are. I didn't think they were good this week against Miami. I thought that was an ugly, tough win. I don't think they're one of the 10 best teams in football. I don't think right now they're better than Jacksonville.
Quentin Johnson will be back. Joe Alt will be back. Hampton will be back. Khalil Mack will be back. Like, they are figuring out ways to win when a huge percentage of your team is decimated. Makes me impressed with.
Also, the Dolphins.
It was the Dolphins.
It's okay. Yeah, it's confusing. If the Bills aren't good, the Patriots aren't good. So I need the Bills to be good. I'm a little bit
transitive property.
But I'm worried that the Bills actually aren't good.
So
who is good? Though? At that point, it becomes who is good in the AFC.
No, but the only reason I'm worried about, like, the Bills scored 41, 30, 30, and 31 twice. Those were against the teams, Ravens, Jets, Miami, and Saints, with the 32nd, 28th, 29th, and 25th worst scoring defenses. So, like, all right, and I hate to, it's such a small sample size, it's hard to do who have you beaten already. That being said, the Colts remind me a little bit, granted it's just like an Indiana bias, like maybe the Colts are the Pacers. We're like, oh, and Daniel Jones, maybe you're Halliburton. And like everyone just kind of works together. And maybe the Bills are Giannis. Like, Giannis, unbelievable.
Write this down.
Oh, Josh Allen, but the rest of the team's not there.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones,
what
Tyrese
else
Halliburton, I'm not hearing that.
But do you like Josh Allen as Giannis?
Yes.
Okay, then let's stick with that one. Like,
Josh Allen needs a ring.
Shakir has 25. Who's the number 1 target? Shakir?
You love Keon Coleman because Deion
Keon Coleman's
told you to.
40th in the league.
I
in
told
catches.
you that was going to happen.
Shakir's 25th in league in catches.
They need
Kincaid's got the most
yards.
yards of his targets in play. He's 45th in the league in yards. So, like, outside of Josh Allen doing Superman stuff, if
he's been Superman for the last 5 years, though.
180 yards. But you need a little more balanced team, perhaps.
They definitely do.
It's a little Giannis-y, that's all.
Yeah, no,
Maybe sign his brother. Does Josh Allen have a brother?
Maybe.
Put him on the team.
Yeah, the Bucs signed both his brothers.
Yeah. Coming up next. What did the law say about the Bills? I've got all my notes here. I'm just
That was good stuff, Giannis. Welcome back. We got Coach Mangini and Willie Colon out here in Atlanta. Falcons with a huge upset in the how the heck do you figure out this league NFL over Josh Allen and the Bills. 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers for Allen. Bijan Robinson was an absolute monster. Sean McDermott trying to explain the loss away. Take a listen.
I appreciate the way the guys battled to the end. At the end of the day, we've got to go back now, in addition to getting guys healthier, and we'll see how that goes. But figure out things on offense, defense, and special teams. We've got to start over and start from ground zero and figure this thing out and work our tails off to do it.
So we were just talking about this a bit in Top 10 Tuesday. I tend to, if you've been good for a long time in the NFL, they say the year starts over, every team's new and all that, but like if you've been good consistently, right, I tend to give you more of a benefit of the doubt and say, blip, a little bit of turbulence, this 2-game stretch here for Buffalo. But did you think the Bills got exposed last night by Atlanta, Coach?
No, I don't think they got exposed. I think the problems that they've had all season long just got reinforced. So they were 28th against the run going into the game. Now they're 30th against the run. Bijan Robinson, 19 for 170. He had the longest rush of the season. That's a problem. Drake London had 10 catches.
He's amazing.
Yeah, so he has 10 catches for 158 yards. So they have 2 guys offensively that are able to light him up. And Buffalo hasn't figured out a way to effectively stop the run, which puts a ton of pressure on the offense and Josh to try to be Superman every single game. And that's hard to do. And the other thing is when a team can run the ball, they can also keep you off the field. And now you're thinking, my possessions are limited. I've got to make a play on this possession. You start forcing it, and that's where the turnovers come, which he was so good with last season.
Yeah, I thought the Falcons laid out the blueprint on how to beat the Buffalo Bills, and that's controlling the edges, keeping Josh Allen in the pocket, having a heavy run game on deck, and take timely shots. And on top of what Coach is saying, force Josh Allen to play hero ball. I think the interesting that comes to me after the loss is it questions how really good are the Buffalo Bills? Because if you look at the losses they've had, it's only against the Patriots or Falcons, right? Both are good teams, but the wins are against Baltimore, Dolphins, the Saints, and the Jets. All those teams have horrible records. So when you look at this team from the sky view, you're like, man, are the Buffalo Bills really that good, right? Because they've only beat up on the little brother. They haven't been able to step in the ring and beat up on contenders who are legit contenders. Like I consider the Falcons a contender in the NFC, right, in South. So, and the Patriots are emerging. So overall, man, I just think right now the Buffalo Bills, I'm shaken by who they are and what they can do well.
So again, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, they haven't lost 3 games in a row, Buffalo, since Josh Allen's rookie year. So I expect them to beat Carolina. Like maybe I'll have egg on my face for that, but like when you have the MVP of the league, a team that's been in AFC Championship games, a team that's won their division 5 years in a row, I just tend to believe that they will figure it out. Now, eventually all good things must end, right? Like I understand that at some point their reign will be over, but Josh Allen had a huge turnover problem for a big percentage of his career. Yeah. And then it went away, and he became the MVP of the league. And so it feels like these last couple of games where he started turning the ball over again, I will be very surprised if 5 weeks from now we're still talking about Josh Allen turnovers.
Yeah, now, thankfully, last game, the first turnover didn't lead to points, and really the second turnover, they're down by 10, so it's like, I think it was a minute and 9 seconds left, so they would have scored a touchdown, still had to get an onside kick. So putting those into context, they're not as bad as some of his turnovers have been historically. And with playing Carolina, depends which team shows up.
That's
because
true.
they can be
But
really
the-
good
but
and really.
They won 30-0 against Atlanta, who just beat Buffalo.
Yeah,
Like,
and
so-
then they got blown out by New England. So whichever Panthers team shows up, Buffalo could have their hands full there.
But to your MVP point, what showed last night is that the Buffalo Bills can't continue to ride Josh Allen's cape, right? They need more. I understand Joshua Palmer was out, Dalton Kincaid has been down. But it seems like they need more to be that offense that averaged 30 points a game last year. I'm waiting for that offense to show up.
Yeah, we saw it week 1, right? We see against Baltimore. We've seen their offense early. And I don't know, I'm watching that game and man, Josh Allen's taking a lot of sacks. When's the last time Josh Allen took 4 sacks in a game? Week 1 of 2023.
Oh, wow.
It was a weird game. I'd imagine if you're a Buffalo Bills fan watching that, you're like, wait, what team is this?
Atlanta was coming off the bye, so they did have the extra week to prepare.
Helps.
So I think that helps. They are a team that's a heavy pressure team, where the volume of pressure from them versus other teams significantly more. So I would imagine they probably had a pretty good plan going into it. Brought multiple blitzes that they were able to practice over 2 weeks. Little bit of the benefit of the doubt on that as well.
But to Danny's point, their brand, the Buffalo Bills brand, is dominating the trenches. On both sides, they got bullied last night. That's not something we're used to seeing.
Yeah, they want to play from out in front because their strength is obviously the offensive side of the ball. Let's go to an obvious now AFC contender, Kansas City. Mahomes and the Chiefs, well, they beat the Lions 30-17, and they bullied the bullies, and then bullying was the talk after the game. It was weird. 4 touchdowns from Mahomes, fastest quarterback to throw for 300 yards. Here's Mahomes on just another accomplishment for himself.
It's extremely cool. I mean, I've been blessed. I always say it, and I mean it. I've been blessed. I got drafted here in Kansas City, a great community, great ownership, and then getting one of the best football coaches of all time and some of the greatest players of all time around me. And so it makes my job a lot easier when I'm able to throw to some great ones. And let's continue it. Let's have some fun, and we've got a long career ahead, and we'll see how many we can get to.
So, a lot of the theory about why the light show, as this show has deemed it, went away was they lost Tyreek Hill. Mm-hmm. But also, Patrick Mahomes was getting hit a lot. Last year, they played 4 different guys at left tackle. And so far this year, they were trying to figure it out with Simmons, who didn't play in this game, to Moore's credit, the kid they brought over from San Francisco. But the last 3 weeks, Mahomes hasn't been hit. Part of it is Xavier Worthy coming back, no doubt. Part of it is the opponents, all of that. But if Patrick Mahomes can stand in that pocket and trust that the 5 guys in front of him are not going to put him on his back, he's going to pick you apart. And I thought that's what we saw Detroit make Lamar Jackson and that Ravens offense look confused and contain him and made him look average. And so that same team came into Arrowhead, and the Chiefs were like, oh no, we'll pick you apart and it won't matter. And I feel like it's because even though Simmons wasn't playing in the game, he felt like, I trust the guys in front of me, and that's been the difference for the Chiefs the last few weeks.
Yeah, I do believe so. I think protection helps, but I also think one of the things when you talk about Patrick Mahomes from an elite level, he's been able to, I think, slow himself down and rely on what's around him, right? I think that's what good quarterbacks are able to do. They use the pieces around them and they elevate them, and I think that's what we've been able to see. I think if you was to answer the question right here, are they a scary team? To me, they're not. To me, they're inconsistent because they lost to the Jags last week, right? And then they show up and they knuckle up against the Lions. What concerns me about the Chiefs moving forward is their defense because it's just spotty, right? And when you talk about the third quarter against the Lions, you watch Jared Goff go 8 for 8 and knife through that defense and score a touchdown with Sam Laporta. Then the fourth quarter, the defense stood up and shut them down. So I'm not worried about the offense. Defensively is what makes me say, are they scary? Do they travel well? And can they get it done?
The thing that concerns me about this team is a week ago we're talking about the penalties. There's 13 penalties. So now they cleaned it up this week. They have no penalties, and I know some people felt like that was overkill on the officials' part, the fact that they could go through a whole
we know what happens at home with the Chiefs. I mean, it's been going on for some time.
But it's the no penalties, no turnovers, but a week ago we're talking about a very different team.
Yes.
So to be scary, there needs to be a level of consistency that we really haven't seen from Kansas City this year. And Kansas City last year, as many close games as they won, and people had concerns about that, they found ways to win, and they found a lot of different ways to win, and they didn't make mistakes that hurt them, which is not where they've been this season so far. So they're trending in the right direction. In terms of protection, have they solved that problem? I'm not convinced they've solved that problem.
Let me just say, and this is a whole other topic unto itself, but if the Chiefs are inconsistent. Who is consistent?
Oh, the Bucs.
The Bucs?
Okay.
Okay, but I mean,
Tampa
all,
Bay,
a
I'd
bunch
say,
of
is probably a scarier team right now.
100%.
I mean, all those one-score wins, all those injuries.
But you know what you're getting.
Okay.
On both sides of the ball.
Okay, fair enough. Fine. That's one.
There you go.
There's just not many teams anyone could argue to choose ahead of them. But coming up next, are the Eagles getting themselves back on track? They're at least talking about it. We'll see if they can do it. Coming up. All right, time now for a little edition of He Said, We Said. Sometimes what they say isn't what they mean. You've heard of coach speak. You've heard of cliches. Well, we've got a coach, we've got a player, and we've got me, a media guy.
It's Matt.
So we're going to play He Said and tell you what he means. First up, Baker Mayfield heard some MVP chants. Here's what he said about it.
When you had that epic run in the chants MVP, start rating it, how did it make you feel?
It's week 6, so got a big one next week. So it's awesome to have the support. Don't get me wrong, but we're just getting started.
What he means is he knows how popular he is, and he does not need to campaign for himself. The fans are going to be chanting MVP, and the media loves a story. We build you up, we tear you down, just so we can build you back up again. Plenty of us TV talking heads are going to be doing the campaigning for Baker Mayfield because it would be an amazing story.
No, the reality is he's been built up in the past. He's gone through that, and then he got broken down. He had to go to Carolina, then he went out to LA, and then he finally gets his opportunity. And as difficult as that was for him, that's changed everything, and that changed his perspective. And now that he's playing with some backup guys, I think he enjoys that aspect of it. He enjoys that those guys are getting an opportunity, and this is a much more humble, focused Baker Mayfield than when he first came in the league, and that to me is what is going to continue to drive them to be successful.
Yeah, I think Baker realized he's becoming a folk hero in Tampa. Yeah, the Bucs are 5-1, and they're doing it short-handed. Depleted wide receiver room, no running backs, reshuffled offensive line, but yet they're ranked third on offense. The defense is ferocious. They tackle and fight all 4 quarters, and I think right now what you're seeing on Bucs tape is chemistry and character, and he's the lead character. So I love it. I actually want cocky Baker. I actually want Baker to show up. Remember how Fitzpatrick showed up with the chains and the glasses? That's what I'm waiting for. So I want Baker to lean into it. The pass is the pass. Show up, Baker.
I think he's cocky, but he's cocky and humble.
Yeah,
cocky and humble.
He's got both.
Can you be cocky and humble?
He's confident. He's confident as opposed to cocky.
Sounds like a politician.
I'd rather lean towards the cocky.
Right, I want cocky
side of the table.
I agree.
Next up, here's the head coach of the Eagles, Nick Sirianni.
You know, anytime we're in a streak where we are right now, having lost 2 games in a row, we're not ever here to assign blame. We're here to find solutions, and that's what this whole weekend's about. How do we put the guys in positions to be more physical?
He's not here to assign blame, so I'll do it because his players are hinting at it. Jalen Hurts is talking about chefs. Guys have players' meetings in the parking lot. I've just been around long enough to know Kevin Patullo is not long for being the play caller if they don't figure it out. So I'm not saying this week or even maybe next week, but you can't be this talented, this healthy, and this bad on offense for this long with those Super Bowl expectations. So he might not be publicly assigning blame, but don't worry, there will be changes coming soon.
Yeah, and I'm going to point the finger at the defense and Vic Fangio's defense. I understand they don't have a pass rush and Jalen Carter's hurt and they're struggling to hold up in the secondary, but that's mostly because they blitz and they're out of place on the back end. So what you're watching right now is this defense really not living up to their identity, rushing 4, playing solid, cover 2, or playing man. And what's disturbing about it is, they're horrible in the red zone and they struggle on 3rd down. And I think that's what's not helping this offense. They feel like they have to carry the load because the defense is insufficient.
If anybody's talking like that in the building, then that organization is sick. And that's a sign of sick organizations is when you go through difficult things and you start pointing fingers at other people. And organizations that are healthy and players and coaches that truly understand how they're going to dig out of a hole. It's about what can I do better? What can I do to help this team win as opposed to, hey, I'm good, he needs to pick it up.
Next on He Said, We Said, let's check in with walking soundbite Jim Harbaugh on Justin Herbert's game-saving play.
That play would be burned in my mind till they throw dirt over top of me.
Justin Herbert back to throw. Defender wrapped around him. You know, he's able to just mighty man it and shake it off and hit Ladd McConkey.
Mighty man it, not a superhero. He changes hands on this play. Hey, listen, I love listening to Jim Harbaugh. He's like the right kind of crazy person for a football coach. The only thing is, as a known Justin Herbert guy, is that's the sickest Justin Herbert play since the last sick Justin Herbert play. Like, do you remember the game tying touchdown against Denver was like 3 weeks ago? This play is ridiculous. That play is impossible. So if he's thinking about that play when there's dirt on top of him, he's going to have like a whole highlight reel, Coach.
Yeah, nobody loves Justin Herbert more than maybe Justin Herbert's family than Jim Harbaugh, and he believes. No, you're not even close to where Jim Harbaugh is, and I think that confidence is contagious. It not only helps Justin Herbert, but it helps all the guys around him believe in Justin Herbert as well. To have someone with not only his background as a head coach, but as a quarterback, to believe in him that deeply. And he made a sick play, and Harbaugh believed he could do it, and now he makes another one. And to me, it's all part of building him up, and he's rewarding that confidence.
Yeah, nobody fans boys harder than Harbaugh or Danny Parker. I give you the crown. But the question I have is why are the Chargers and Justin Herbert always in this position? Right, that's the problem. He's an elite quarterback. He's supposed to make these plays, but right now he's not the closer on the team. Dicker the kicker is. That's the problem. On top of that, they're ranked 32nd in the red zone. They're money good on third down, but 32nd in the red zone. This is why they find themselves trying to have a Herculean type task at the end of the game. So yeah, this is good, but if they want to be them in the playoffs, they got to fix this.
Next up, Kerby Joseph on Patrick Mahomes.
How difficult is it against Mahomes when you guys?
It ain't hard at all, bro. Don't even say it's difficult. It ain't hard. You gotta do our job.
That is the lament of the loser. Saying it's not hard defending Patrick Mahomes when he put up 30 on you. You know what wasn't hard? Patrick Mahomes facing the Lions defense. That's a terrible look for Kerby Joseph.
No, it ain't. If I'm a coach, I want my team to be salty. I'm a fan of sore losers. I'm a sore loser myself. I'm okay with fighting at the end of the games. I'm okay with a bad attitude because that shows passion and pride. I don't want my team to ever walk off the field playing against a worthy opponent and feel like, all right, we lost, let's go on to Detroit. I want my team to feel salty, quiet. You know how it is at the end of a loss, Coach. When you suffer a bad loss, especially a loss where you felt like, man, we got knocked around, what happens on the bus ride home? It's quiet. Nobody's speaking. Nobody's making eye contact. Because from an individual standpoint, you're like, man, we got chin checked today, and we lost. So I'm okay with that type of attitude. You just don't want it to linger. You want these guys to soak for 48 hours and say, okay, that was that. Let's move on to next week. But I'm okay with all that. That doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I want guys to be a sore loser too, but I also want them to be a realistic loser. And when you give 257 yards, and what was it, 3 passing touchdowns, another scramble touchdown, if you think that's not hard, what's it going to be like when someone does bring something hard, if that's the type of production?
But that's my point, Coach. When you know you're capable of doing better and you don't do better and you walk off the field like nothing happened, that's a problem. I want the emotions to speak as you know you let one go and we got our butts kicked. I want those emotions to show.
Yeah, I do too, but acknowledge you let one go, not, hey, they weren't anything. I mean,
listen, I get where you're coming from, and I'm not saying you have to have reverence for Patrick Mahomes, but I mean, he's Patrick Mahomes.
No, he's been playing the league.
He's
been money good. But my point is, from a Detroit Lions standpoint, they've been beating people up since week 2. The Packers obviously got
they had won 4 straight coming in.
Right. So this game, you know, you were supposed to show up and get it done. You was a no-show in the fourth quarter. The last third down for the first down for the Lions came in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, they got shut out. So both sides, they got their butts kicked.
And fighting after the game, you had all game to hit someone.
Yeah,
you don't need to hit someone afterwards.
It means more after the game.
It means you got suspended and fined.
That's all right. Day off.
Day off. You're going to miss that game against Tampa. Man, it's been too long since we talked about Caleb Williams. It's been like 20-something minutes. So we're going to get back into it. Big statement for him against Jayden Daniels last night. Last night, the big subplot of the game, Caleb v. Jayden, number 1 and number 2 in their respective draft classes. Jayden Daniels got the win last year in the Hail Mary situation. Caleb Williams, the last laugh last night. And so far this year, listen, neither one of them completion percentage is where you want it. Touchdown interception ratio in favor of Caleb, passer rating very similar, really similar across the board. And, the question is, did Caleb validate his selection in the draft? Obviously, Washington's thrilled with Jayden. I think the Patriots are thrilled with Drake May. And I would argue the Bears are thrilled with Caleb Williams. And they absolutely believe that they got the right guy and that he'll be their quarterback for the next 10 years. So I don't think he needed one game to validate that selection.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily validated it. And to me, Jayden's in a different category because of what he did last year.
NFC Championship game as a rookie.
And those stats are pretty similar. But just if we can quickly, him versus Drake May this year. And if anything, look at the Drake May's numbers versus Caleb's numbers. Drake's stronger in every single one. So
Drake's been awesome.
I think Drake is ahead of him. I think Caleb, everybody's hoping he's going to continue to progress, and there's positive signs. But to me, it's still Jayden and Drake right now are clear favorites.
Yeah, I don't think he did. It's crazy because I was waiting to see some Caleb magic last night, especially in crucial situations. We didn't get that. I mean, Jayden Daniels doesn't fumble football. Commanders win. I don't know if we're talking about Caleb right now. But
if Caleb fumbled the football, we would definitely be talking about how Caleb can't come through.
And if Zacchaeus could catch the football, I mean, it's a different story as well.
Or if Caleb threw an interception and then was smiling on the sideline like Jayden Daniels, the body language police would be all out for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a modest effort. It was solid. But nevertheless, man, I still need to see more of Caleb.
Yeah, listen, I think we all do. It's a very talented class, and I think we will be talking about those three guys and Penix and Bo Nix and JJ for the next 10-plus years. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. First things first.